My channel. My channel. My content. My channel. My content. My channel. My content. Happy Monday.
Hey, that's my line.
I gotta steal it.
Can't steal my line.
I have to steal your line so you can come up with some new material.
Okay.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, people.
Yeah, I hope everybody had a good Christmas.
We have an, I guess, I don't know.
Special guest?
Yeah, we can't say
An
special
extra
guest.
special.
An extra special guest. Brian BARCZYK in the house. How are you, man?
Yeah, what's going on, guys? You can hear me okay?
Just get the applause going on the machine. we can hear you.
Yeah,
You're
you're coming through
perfect.
good.
So here you go. We got to give you a proper intro. Ready?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. No, it's good to be on, man. I've been following your guys' progress, and it's always good. New facility looks fantastic, man. Can't wait to eventually get up there and check it out, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be, when I really missed having the CRBE sort of get together in the contest. Yeah. We did it 2 years in a row, something I really looked forward to. And now that we didn't have it, it's the show, meeting people, having everybody, come and gather. It really sucked. And but at least now, when you guys do come, it's not we're all not jammed into a little 1,000 square foot facility with no room and sweating. And
Yeah, we actually have sofas now.
Yeah, well.
It's the only thing.
Nice. Well, I just know that I'm gonna kick some ass on Pac-Man when I come up. So you be aware, all right?
Here we go. I better start practicing. I've got all the high scores, of course, right now on Galaga and everything else.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna have some fun, man. We're not even gonna look at snakes. We're just playing arcade games.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that seems like it was like this morning. So I've got all the high scores because I've had it for about 3 days, and now that these guys have had their first touch at it, they're trying to get there. But
We'll get there.
Well, yeah, they probably don't remember those games, Billy. Come on, they're like, what is this fucking Galaga thing, man? Right?
Look how stupid this is. Like, this is all you do is shoot up and move back and forth. Really?
It's actually hard.
Yeah, we got them, man. We got these young little whippersnappers, man. We got them.
Yep. But so how was your Christmas?
It was great, man. It was really good. Obviously, as you know, animals don't take holidays, so I was at the shop working, but I got some family time, which is really nice. And it's been busy. Life has been crazy busy, which is great. I mean, I'm very, very blessed. A lot of people have not been busy, but we have a lot going on, and it's been good. So definitely a good holiday, but not much of a rest holiday. I'm really looking forward to the first, because that'll be my first day that I'll go in for maybe 2 or 3 hours. And then the rest of the day, no company, no family, I don't want to even talk to anyone the whole day. I'm going to turn my cell phone off, not going to do any social media. I'm just taking the day off.
Good for you. Even though it's, to me, when I try to do that, it's like, it almost like the phone's calling you.
Yeah.
Like, pick me up. What are you doing? I'm like, man, it's so hard. Even when I'm on vacation, trying to relax, I have to look at Instagram. I don't know.
And the thing
I'm a
is,
junkie.
Like, if you miss like a couple of days, it almost feels like you missed a whole year. Like so many things happen.
I've been really, making a concerted effort to drop that screen time, right? Less time on the phone, more time in reality. Don't get me wrong. I still spend way too much time, but I have been reducing that time. I was up at I'm not kidding you guys. I'm embarrassed to say, but I was spending 3.5 hours a day on my phone. Now I've got that down to under 2 hours a day, which is still too much, but it's, I'm making a very concerted effort. Like when I come home at night, except for something special like this, I literally plug my phone in on my dresser and I walk away from it and I don't even look at it. And because like you said, Billy, if it's anywhere near me, I'm picking it up.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's almost like, I don't know. I feel bad if I don't look. I don't know, man. That's a sickness. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss anything. That's the thing. I don't want to miss anything.
I'm down to like 12 hours. on my phone. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying.
It's bad. Yeah,
well,
I got
that's
to get
good.
away from it, man. Got to shut it down every now and then, and that's a goal for the future: is live more in the moment and less online.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's good that you're busy, and I know the feeling. I mean, I'm 7 days a week. You know, every day I go in for at least a little bit or do something. Or, luckily for me, I've got a lot of stuff where I can log in, look at the cameras, look at the sensors. I can, check everything and make sure everything is a-okay. But I still need that physical go in, look around, even if it's for an hour or two, grab a coffee, go. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just need that feeling of being at the facility. Just, I don't know, it's something like needed.
Yeah, well, I love it. And honestly, some of my favorite time, I love sharing, especially the Reptarium with people, but my favorite time is when I'm there alone, and it's the difference of really, I mean, I grew up as a snake guy, ball pythons and colubrids and stuff like that. You could take a day off and walk away and, like you said, just remotely check in. Now I have animals that need daily food, so I have no choice but to go in even if I don't want to, because it's no longer just snakes, so. But I don't mind. I love it, and like I said, some of my favorite time every day. I'm always 9 out of 10 days. I'm the last person at this place, and I spend at least a half hour, 45 minutes. Even if I'm ready to go home, I'll spend that little time just walking around, being kind of a patron of the place rather than an owner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm like, I go in early. I'm always there first. And I just like walking around seeing and, let me grab the measuring tape. Let's check this out. Let's do this. What can I do? And then I'm always trying to
like add
or change or just, it never ends.
Yeah.
It's a sickness, I mean, it's an addiction, just like the cell phone. It's an addiction to grow, and or evolve. It really is. It's like if I don't have a building project going, it's like I go out of my mind. And if it's not at the shop, I'm building something. It's at home, I'm remodeling something. I mean, I'm always doing there. That's what Jay, my camera guy, always jokes around. He goes, he's been with me for about a year and a half now, and there's never been a time where there's not a building project involved, ever. I mean, never. I mean, I'm always building something every single time. When I finish one project, I start another project. Sometimes not even that. Sometimes I'm not even finished with a project and I've started another project, and that's just the way my life has always been.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's like, it's almost like we want to keep busy or we need to keep busy. And people are like, wow, you're always so busy. You're always so work. It's like, yeah, I mean, no one puts it on it but me. I mean, I'm the one that puts it on myself to be busy. And I always want to be busy.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Sorry about that. But it's almost more than that with somebody like Billy, knowing Billy and sort of how you're describing yourself, Brian. It's like you guys are already busy, but that just like the busy work isn't enough. It needs there always needs to be something moving forward a little bit somewhere else as well. Like it's not just the busy work. There has to be something different, something changing.
It's not like
something improving.
The animal care's already like hard as is.
Yeah.
Let's like build something even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, I think it is stagnancy, right? We don't want to be stagnant. You never want to stay in one place. I think that, and in business and in reptiles with anything, when you do slow down, someone catches you and passes you, period, So the only thing you can do is just continue to stay motivated. And I tell people all the time, like, it's so funny because like 10 years ago, if I would have thought of my life, I would have thought I was the busiest person I've ever seen, right? And yet now you fast forward 10 years ago and I look at 10 years ago, it's like I was on vacation. Like, what I mean? Like, like, holy cow. And I'm sure 10 years from now, I'll feel like this part of my life was on vacation because that's just who I am. But there's also got to be a balance in life. And that's the hard part. When you do what you love, as you guys know, it's really hard to balance because all you want to do is do what you love. And we're so fortunate that we don't have to do things that we hate to do. I mean, so many people in the world, literally wake up every morning and hate to get out of bed because they got to go work at a place they can't stand for 8 or 10 hours. And we get to do whatever we want to do every day. And it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And with people that they don't like and just, get into the car that they don't want or they hate to have or on the bus. It's always something. It's just, it's definitely blessed.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think what people have to understand is that, it's easy to look at, you guys or us, or any of the people that do this. And and think like, oh, they're so lucky they get to do what they love. But at the same time,
It's work.
like you had mentioned, we work harder than anybody. You know what I mean? It's not like anyone gave us this life. I mean, it's like you work your butt off, and so you deserve to live your life and love your life and do those things. So but yeah, I mean, and I always tell people, I mean, if I give one bit of advice to anybody in business and in success is outwork your competition, period.
Yeah.
And sometimes yourself is the biggest competition. So.
Oh
you
yeah,
have to,
well
like,
I am. I'm my biggest critic. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of sacrifice that we do behind the scenes. That a lot of people, oh, I wish I had a collection your size. Oh, I wish I could make animals. Well, you can, but you got to sacrifice your time, your weekends. It's crazy how much we do behind the scenes, just trying to catch. I don't know about you, but me, I can't even catch up to my emails, man. It's just crazy. Text messages, emails. It's like,
Well, I was really fortunate that, again, the thing that's interesting over the last like 5 years of my life is that I've structured my companies in the way that I don't do the things I don't want to do, right? So if there's things like emails I don't want to do, I now have someone that's what their job is, to do my emails. So we stay up on our emails, but BHB and Reptarium and even my personal, my personal, it's dude, I swear to God, my personal email, literally less than 5 emails a day, because I've funneled all of my emails into my other accounts and I have people that oversee them. But we get 200-300 emails a day that have to get answered, every single email. And but like I said, I've kind of structured everything. I've delegated so much of my life to this. Like I've thought like a list, like what do I hate doing? And I've said, all right, I'm delegating all that out. I'm not going to do any of that anymore. And that's the way I've structured my life. So it's funny, people that come and hang out with me realize I don't do anything I don't want to do. Like if I don't like it, I don't do it. Period. I have someone else.
I like that idea. See, I'm learning already.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
It's hard to let go. It's hard because we're all control freaks and we all we think we could do everything better ourselves.
Yep.
But when you finally delegate and allow other people to do things, your life becomes way better. And the thing is, this is the thing, Billy, is that, is my time more valuable answering emails? And by the way, I mean, when there's an important email that only I can answer, they forward it to me.
Of course, yeah.
It's not like I'm, but I'm talking about like, what temperature should my ball python be kept at? Stuff like, I don't need to be doing that stuff, right? My time is more valuable. I can be doing things that are way more valuable. And so that's the way I've looked at my life now, is that if I can extricate myself from something that someone else can do equally as well, and I don't have to do it, it gives me more time to do stuff that I'm really passionate about. Like, I mean, just for me, I'm like probably my biggest passion in life right now is training reptiles, like literally training them to do the things I want them to do. And I spend an enormous amount of time with these animals, creating these bonds and doing things that I think that most people never thought could even be done with reptiles. And we're just scratching the surface of their intelligence and their ability to be trained. And that to me is more valuable than, a lot of the business stuff that I can just push off on other people.
Yeah, I find that's the thing you said earlier. It's hard for me to let go. Mm-hmm. How many years did I finally say, okay, you can help feed a rat?
Oh, it was not until recently, probably.
Yeah. About 3 years you're with me. I'm like, because it was just so much and the animals. So it got out of my control. And I'm like, listen, hey, you know what? I mean, I can't do this myself. I have to lean on Austin because he was my number 2. And, but at like 3 years, no one fed my collection. Nobody. It was me and me only. And then all of a sudden now it's like, here you go. And now I'm learning to do that. And I can feel a little bit of the weight off my shoulders. But then I also in my head, it's like, well, shit, no one can do it as good as I can. And that's another thing that's in the...
It is hard. And, feeding animals it's a reasonable concern, because it's not just feeding animals. The ability, the act of throwing a rat in isn't what the issue is. It's understanding what happens next. How does that animal feed? When does it feed? Is it going to feed 2, 3, 4 rats? Those are things. And if that communication between you two isn't spot on, the decisions you're making during the breeding season aren't going to be accurate.
Yeah, and there's so many things.
Yeah, so it's the same thing with me. Like we have, systems in place where I need to know everything about that because I do all the breeding still. I still do all the male switching. I do all everything. So if I'm not personally feeding, which weirdly enough, I probably didn't feed for 3 or 4 years, and now I'm back to feeding again. I'm doing the feeding of my adults, just because I felt like I could have a better feel for what the next steps are if I do it myself. And although it takes several hours a week to do, to me, and quite frankly, I do enjoy it. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't enjoy the actual, like, feeding an animal off. I don't enjoy that, but I enjoy seeing the process of like, okay, this female was off of food. Now I put a male in with her. She populated. Now she's feeding aggressively. Now I'm seeing follicular growth. And I enjoy that part of it so much. So it's almost like, and you got to remember for me now, quite frankly, mainly breeding snakes is a hobby, right? Like it doesn't pay my bills. It doesn't, and there's so much weight that's taken off my shoulders when it comes to that part of my life because like if I get terrible odds on a clutch, before I used to make the joke, and it's a horrible joke, but I used to say, I used to take the razor blade and cut the egg, and then if it was a bad thing, I'd want to cut my wrist, because it was like so bad. But now
Jeez.
now it doesn't matter. I don't care. I mean, yeah, I want to produce something really awesome, but it isn't like it doesn't change my life either way, and so it's interesting the last 2-3 years in particular. It's fun for me now. Like it's completely back to a hobby. And I know that's weird with, still producing, a couple hundred clutches of ball pythons a year and then thousands of other snakes and lizards, that it would be a hobby, but it really is. It's my hobby. It's no longer my business.
So that's good. I like the way that you said you came back, haven't bred for so long now. I mean, fed, and now, you brought some of it back for your adults. And I feel like I'm going to do that too, do things and then, sort of shift and go, hey, I want to do this. And that's why I like the whole, everything about, having the facility and there's so many different aspects of doing stuff that you can't really get bored because there's always something to do and you can always just switch it up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I always tell people, I used to always say this to TV producers when they ask me about my life. I said, well, the most boring day of my life is when I feed 2,000 snakes, That's the boringest day. That's boring, right? Like every other day is exciting, but so if the most boring day is you're feeding a couple thousand snakes, I say your life is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's still an awesome day.
Yeah.
We have a few super chats here. Here's one.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get this a lot, Brian.
Who's it from?
Justin at Legacy Morphs. Sorry, Justin.
Gotta give him a shout out, man.
Just take his money and run.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get this. I'm sure you get this a lot, Brian, but you're the reason I got into snakes as a kid. I remember watching early snake bites videos, begging my mom for a snake. I remember the first sunset and the scaleless head.
Cool.
Thank you. First off, Justin, thank you so much. You make me feel old, of course, but that's that. No, it's been a blessing. It's been a wild ride. I mean, I can honestly say when I set out on this journey, by the way, I mean, I will, early snake bites still make me cringe, I mean, like the early days. I think we've evolved a lot in the last, 12, 13 years, but it still was a journey that I don't regret. I mean, I did a lot of things I would never do again, obviously, but, it was all a learning experience. And it's crazy to think that it was actually the Anaheim Reptile Show is the first time I ever filmed, back in 2008. And, it's crazy to think that now, you fast forward, coming up on, because it was January of 2008. So, we're literally coming up on 13 years of nonstop filming, whether it was weekly or now daily for 1,580 days in a row. It's been a wild ride, man. I still can't believe this still is my life. It's wild.
It is definitely crazy.
Yeah.
Another super chat.
This one's from Chad at Richie's Recessives. Austin and Elias, double mitt twins. Okay, this was an accident.
Yeah, this was complete.
So Brian, he can't see. So basically, they both showed up today wearing the same shirt.
It's one of those moments.
Yeah.
Shirt twins.
Wait,
Oh, nice.
there's still more in the super chat. And it says, Lord, did you propose yet? And no, not to Austin. I think he's talking about Catherine, man.
No. I don't know how to answer that. No.
So you got to propose.
Oh my
man.
gosh, yeah, that's a touchy question right there, man.
We're not even dating.
They're not even dating. I don't know. I don't know where that all started.
I
Who
don't
knows?
know. It's chat.
Anyways, Paul Tyler.
Paul Taylor.
I know. I did it on purpose
okay.
because
All right.
last week he changed it to Paul.
did he?
Yeah, he changed it, and I noticed it. I'm like, nah, come on, Paul Taylor, come on. But he changed it just as a joke.
That's
so
funny.
I had to look at it. Now that he's put it back to the proper name, do it up. Come on.
So Paul Taylor here, he says jet fund and drill those all around.
Wow.
Oh wow.
There you go.
We'll take the jet fund stuff. They
Yeah,
can take-
you missed that episode. It was pretty funny. You know who brought that up? Chris. So we were talking about crazy things that happened at Tinley, and he was talking about the U.S. ARC auction, and he goes, "Oh man, they had this drill though and stuff for sale, and the rest of the podcast for like an hour.
It just got.
It was funny as hell.
It just went off. Yeah,
It was crazy.
There's some crazy shit that happens
Yeah.
at that auction.
The people in the chat
yeah,
are
that
amazing and
great.
just as crazy as us. I love
Yep.
it. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. The chats are always great. The live, that's why we do the live podcast as well. I think you can easily record and upload later, but I think there's something special about the live chats, and the people that support this with the super chats are amazing too. So it's I couldn't go any other way but live. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said. We talked about it in like April. It's like Elion's like, "Oh, you should get into a podcast." And I looked into it. I messaged you, and
It literally started because of Brian. I was watching his
Yeah.
podcast and then just like
I reached out to Brian too, and I'm like, "Hey, what should I do?" And it's like, "Ah, this and that." And then I started looking for it, and it was, of course, when I started looking, it was like 2 months or 3 months into COVID. It seems like everybody jumped on the podcast bandwagon.
Yeah.
Had to order all these
there's
special mics and the stands and the Rode stuff, and it's like, oh, they're back ordered. Oh, you're not going to get one of those mics for about 8 months, and I'm like, what? So I makeshifted everything I had to, and we're here, man. We're learning. It's pretty cool.
No, you guys are doing a great job. I mean, and you're right. The 2020 was the year of podcasts. I mean, there was a billion podcasts, and we were talking about doing it for 2 years or so, and then we finally jumped in. I think it was January was our first podcast, and we were makeshift for a while. Obviously, we're about maybe 3 months into our new podcast studio now, and we're getting more and more serious about it. And it's something that, like we talked about before we jumped on, just it's going to be a huge part of my future. Just like you said, I could do it 7 days a week. I love it so much, but it's cool because you get to know people on unscripted, just talking like a normal person, and you can really get down to the nitty gritty without having to have production and editing or stuff like that. So it's good.
Yeah. Oh, here's my man Jason from Morph Mixology Reptiles.
I think he's
Jake, what's up, man?
Brian's man too. He did a video at Jason's a couple weeks ago.
He actually a couple months ago he was there.
Was it months? No, it was like beginning of December, wasn't it?
When did you go to?
It was November.
You said
8th,
a couple months.
actually. Yeah.
It's almost January.
It's not January.
Well, and next week, what? A month and a half. Yeah, you and the crew stopped
Yeah,
by.
that's awesome though.
To Jason Bigler.
yeah.
Yeah. So he says,
Hey, MC crew and Brian, so good to see you guys on together. I need to get Brian on my live stream too. Hope you had a great Christmas.
shameless plug.
Oh, yeah.
Look at you, Jason. Yeah, he just sent us some beef jerky, and we're just eating that today. So, Jason's
Oh,
a great
cool.
dude.
Well, another quick shameless plug. Jason's actually going to be on the Aftercast tonight with me.
Ooh.
Since Brian's our guest here. So, yeah.
So
So,
cool.
Man.
Reptile Ward's Instagram.
And since we're just throwing things out there, I posted a new video.
What's dropping on you? You got anything to
posted
drop?
one today. I posted one today too.
Awesome.
Oh, geez.
Brian posted
You?
a video today.
No.
So if you want to
Whoa.
follow all of us,
Let
we're
me
gonna be
guess,
in the
9 a.m.?
description.
So everyone else has done
not
something.
yet.
What the fuck have you done?
I haven't been posting videos.
Yeah, I mean everyone else here is grinding, except you're just sitting here just slacking. Come on, man.
I need to get back into recording videos. I'll do it.
Yeah,
Back
we gotta
in the
get-
rhythm.
Gotta get it. Look at this. There's a whole bunch of super chats. You guys are.
Everybody wants to ask Brian a question.
Crushed it, man.
Hold on. Let's see. Oh, did I just miss a whole bunch?
Yeah,
I
it just
did.
jumped for some reason.
Oh yeah, they jumped. It's when there's a whole bunch of them, you can tell. We actually even screen capture them because sometimes they disappear. So
Go down
Mhm.
one. The next one is the one below this.
Okay, ready?
The next one was Wolfgeist.
It says
Nope.
Yep.
Oh,
Wolfgeist hashtag Team Pickles.
Team Pickles.
I don't think
Team
I
Pickle.
think
that's not over here.
I thought that was for Brian. Maybe he has like
I wasn't. I don't know what that is.
I have no
idea
clue what that is either.
Team Pickles.
Team Pickles.
All right.
Sure.
Say so.
Wolf guys, no idea. Wrong podcast, maybe. Oh, Nava.
Got Nava Reptiles. Thanks again, Brian, for inspiring me to get back into the hobby and start my channel. Best decisions I've ever made in my life. You've helped me be open about my anxiety too. Love you, man.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, man. And listen, I know it's tough to be open, about mental health. It's probably one of the most difficult things because you can really get bashed for it and stuff like that. But it's, as you guys probably know, I had a really, really, really tough 5-6 months earlier this year. And feeling much, much better, almost back to normal. But I'm not going to lie to you. If 10 is normal and 1 is bad, I was a 1. I mean, that's how bad I was.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking like almost not survivable, type of stuff.
Yeah.
And I can't take medication, so unfortunately that wasn't an option. So it was a long, long process to heal, and I wanted to take everyone on that journey, and I want to inspire people that are dealing with either depression or anxiety that you can get through. And even through that time when I was literally a 1, what I tell people, a shell of myself. I still work 7 days a week. I put out a vlog every single day. I didn't miss a day, and I wanted to just inspire people to get out of bed, man. You know what I mean? If you're feeling bad and you feel like you can't do it, I want people to look and say, if Brian can do it, maybe I can do it. And then not only get out of bed, but then now I wanted to inspire people to say, hey, look, and not only get out of bed, but you can get better and you can be back to normal, and you don't have to live with anxiety. You don't have to live with depression. You can actually get better. And so I'll have some videos dropping specifically about this. As a matter of fact, shameless plug, this Saturday, I'm going to be doing a podcast, a solo podcast. I normally talk about reptiles. It may be 100% about just how to get over anxiety.
Oh, amazing. That's good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's out there more than people want to admit, and more than people, come forward and be open with. I mean, it's something that's there, and it's probably not going away. It's just you got to learn how to deal with it and see that you're not the only one in that predicament or feeling the way you are. It's definitely
and I think
common.
Yeah, and I think that this year was tough for anyone that was even just had a touch of mental health was crushed this year, right? Mm-hmm. Because I mean, we're in unprecedented times. I mean, we're locked in. We can't do things. You can't go anywhere without a mask on. You can't do this. You can't, the government's telling us, and that's when I really fell off the deep end, was when Michigan shut down to the point where, I mean, literally you drive down the road, there'd be no cars on the road. I mean, it was like a zombie apocalypse here, and it just threw me down a wormhole that was just unbelievable. And then once you get to that heightened anxiety state where your nervous system is just going crazy, it takes a long time for it to calm down. It's not like you can just snap out of it. It takes months and months and months of time. So, but we'll I don't want to bring that down, and we'll talk more about that. Just keep plugging along, man. You'll get there.
Yeah, awesome words of advice. Next, Marvel Balls UK. Kayla.
Hi, Brian. Between you and Billy, you both got me wanting to breed ball pythons early this year. I'm now at 30 in 9 months. I appreciate everything you both do for the hobby, and you both are awesome.
Oh, thanks, Kayla.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla. And they're royal pythons, by the way, not ball pythons. Come on. I can't wait to get back over to the UK. I can't wait to get back over there as soon as this crap is over. I miss going everywhere. I just miss it.
It's crazy.
But UK's high on my list. I'll be there hopefully in the summer. I want to be over there this summer.
I actually was supposed to go April the 4th.
Wow.
And I was going to go to UK, do the Doncaster show, see some of my friends out there and hang out, see their facilities, do some vlogging, and nope. Never been yet. No, it's first on my list. Mm-hmm. So
good. It's a great place. I've been a bunch of times, and it's just really wonderful. Lori has never been to the UK. Noah has been. So we're going to do a family trip out there. Definitely go do some animal stuff. Visit some reptile places, some zoos and stuff like that. Friends of mine, and just kind of hang out over in the UK for maybe a week or so sometime.
That's
hopefully
awesome.
By July or August.
Hoping. Scales Family Reptiles.
It's Amethyst and Jordan. What's up, guys? Shout out to Brian. We love you, man.
Thank you so much, man. It means the world to me. It really does. You guys are making me feel special tonight.
Well, you are, man. I mean, even even myself. Before I actually ever met you, I followed you, and you were the one to go to. You're the one that one of my inspirations. Kevin McCurley and everyone. Back in the day, all the the OGs. And it's good now that I can actually start, where I'm at and what I've done over, 18, 19 years in this industry, I can actually have sort of the same effect that you've had on me and other people, and I inspire other people, it just blows my mind. It's such a great feeling that doing what I love and what I love to do and just being myself, other people can see it and enjoy it and want to be a part of it. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah. It is amazing, and you guys are doing a good job. It's like I've said, I think that I think there was like a really bad period in ball pythons in particular, maybe 8 or 10 years ago, where it just got really nasty, I mean, just nasty, like people making up stuff. And that's ultimately when I started to back away a little bit, was just that, I mean, I was, I tell people, for 27 years, I was the guy that you couldn't find someone to say something bad about. And within 6 or 8 months, I became the most hated guy in ball pythons. Yeah. In the world. Yeah. And yet I was the same guy, I hadn't changed at all. It just, the perception changed. And it really, really was precipitated by some of the leaders of the ball python world at the time that just weren't very, they would make up terrible things about everybody just to get a sale. And it just really got to a point where it wasn't fun anymore. And like I've said, I don't do things I don't want to do, and I didn't want to do this anymore. So although I still work with the animals, I still have a decent collection of ball pythons. I didn't want to do it as my livelihood because of it. And I think now guys like you, Billy, and certainly Justin Kabelica and Ozzy, and the list goes on, are doing such a good job of being the right influence and not the wrong influence. Because you got to remember, the people that are coming into the ball python world, or the reptile hobby as a whole, are going to emulate the leaders of the hobby. So if the leaders are, well, they usually
some are going to copy too.
And if the leaders are backstabbing scumbags but are successful, then other people are going to come and go, well, I've got to be a backstabbing scumbag too.
To be successful like he is, yeah.
Right. But if the leaders are, quality in, quality out, the leaders are, putting on this great professionalism and showing the passion for the animals, and on, then they're emulating you guys. And I think, and I've told Miguel this and everything, I think that the ball python industry is in a better spot now than it's probably ever been in.
100%.
And although maybe, and although I'm not a player in that world anymore, even though I mess with a lot of really cool, I mess with more cool ball pythons than people give me credit for. But the fact is that I do it for fun now. But now I'm a fan. Now I'm a fan of you guys. And I can sit back and look and enjoy the hobby and really marvel at what amazing creations you guys are making right now.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome to hear you say that, man. I feel tingly inside, Brian. Wow.
I have that effect on people. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, here's Justin.
Justin at Legacy Morphs. Chad eat a dick. Hashtag Jet Fund. And we need more Chewy videos.
Oh shit, man! Look at that, man. Yeah, Schuster's supposed to be back down here. He's about 2 hours away from me. That he moved away. That's why he stopped working with me. One of the most genuinely beautiful people on the planet. Seriously, just a super, super good heart. Really lovely man. And so he's going to be down, but again, right now, it's just, life is just, he's up in Croswell, Michigan, which is in the middle of the boonies, a couple hours away. And there's probably no cases of COVID up there because, everyone's like in the middle of nowhere. So the last thing he probably wants to do is come down into a place where, it's dangerous. Yeah. But yeah, he'll be down this summer. You'll see more of him. And although we don't do bite videos anymore, and we will never do bite videos again, we'll have him do something stupid, I'm sure.
Here's another one. Kryptonian reptiles.
Hi, Brian. You got me into reptiles. You both teach and inspire and show that you can still do what you love with a disability. You have inspired me to beat my illness and keep growing in this hobby. Thanks.
That's so amazing.
Awesome, keep going, man. Yeah, just keep going. It's just, listen, it doesn't matter. what people think you can do anything. I mean, I'm a firm believer. My whole life, I've been told I couldn't achieve shit, and no one ever believed in me, and my family still doesn't to this day.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Wow.
Yeah, and it just doesn't matter. I mean, it just doesn't matter. You just got to believe in yourself, and you got to push through, and no matter what it is, it's all within yourself, man. If you believe in yourself, and you're willing to sacrifice, like Billy said earlier, and it is always about sacrifice. If you want to get to a point, that point is going to require sacrifice. And if you're not willing to sacrifice whatever it is to achieve that goal, you will never be successful. Period. No matter how smart you are, or no matter how gifted you are, no matter how many people give you things on a silver platter, the fact is you have to be willing to sacrifice. And the sacrifice is worth it. It's not like the sacrifice isn't worth it. But I'll give you an example. When I was 18 years old, my friends were going out partying at the bars and stuff like that, and I was cleaning snakes, right? Yeah. And everyone was trying to get me like, come on, Brian, let's go. We're going to go see this band. We're going to go hang out this Saturday night. We're going to go do this. I was like, no, I got to clean snakes. I got to feed my snakes. I got to breed my snakes. And that was a sacrifice, right? And do I look back and regret it? Hell no.
Nope.
I think it was the best decision I ever made, because the fact is that most of my friends love them to death. A lot of them I'm still very good friends with. They're living, I hate to say it, they're living a miserable life. They're not happy. They hate their jobs. They barely, they can't, I mean, the other day I was talking to one of my buddies, and he was like, yeah, I really want to get this thing. And I'm like, well, how much is it? He's like, $150. I'm like, well, then fucking buy it, And he's like, well, that takes me a while to get $150. Billy, me and you don't, I mean, I'm not bragging, but we buy what we want because we worked our ass off to get to a position where if we want to buy a cool coffee maker, we don't have to, save up for 3 months, but it's all about sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy because, I mean, where I am now compared to back in the day, I used to have to sacrifice, I need this new gene. I got to, I wasn't made of money. I had to,
right.
What can I sell that I have a lot of that I don't really need to get into this new project? And I was sort of, moving and shaking. And now where I'm at, because I've done things smarter and I've built to where I'm at, now it's like, I don't have to sell shit in order to buy something else. I can just go buy it. And, it's not like, back in the day where it was like, I really want to get into this, or I have to sell this. Now I make so much stuff, I don't even have to sell. I'll just sit on it and hoard it, where before it was like, you were making it because you had to sell it in order to keep growing. Yeah. Well, I'm at that stage where I'm still growing, but I have that, that sweet spot where it's like I can buy what I want. I don't have to sell off other stuff, and it's a nice feeling but I know the feeling where other people are where, you have to sacrifice or give up something in order to get something else. I've been there. It's not like Mutation creation was like this since day one, man. I've been grinding and, going through that sludge. And you were saying like 10 years. I say about 15 to 10 years. It was almost like, I don't even know why I kept going, because it was just people beat you down. They would sell you shitty animals. They'd lie to you. It was horrible. Yeah. And there was no guidance, no help, no inspiration. It was just, watching, your guys' videos and going, I want to be like you guys. That's why I wanted to be like you guys. Ralph Davis, even in his rat shed, cranking on the tunes and cleaning rat shit. And I'm like, fuck, I want to be that guy. It was crazy.
Yeah. But Ralph was an interesting guy, because I think that, he was a guy that came up quick, came up really quick. And although he was edgy, he was also, pretty kind-hearted in a way. He'd be the first person to attack you, but he would never make anything up. He wouldn't lie about it. He may call you names. He may make up, nicknames for you or something like that, but he was a genuine guy. And I think that, he was, listen, you probably remember it was called the Journal, right? The Ralph Davis Journal.
Yeah.
And that was like, the Journal was like the first thing on the internet for ball pythons that, 5 o'clock at 1 o'clock, he posted, Friday at 1 o'clock, he would post the Journal. And I bet you 99% of people that kept ball pythons at 12:59 were
right
on
there,
refreshing freaking things, man. And if it was 1:05 and that Journal wasn't posted, you'd be like, what the hell happened? You'd be logging on to MySpace, like, what's going on MySpace? And so Ralph was a big part of the growth of the hobby in those early days. I think that the groundwork in the early days were, like Kevin McCurley, myself, the EPI, Obviously, Peter Call with the Pieds and Bob Clark with the Albinos and Jamie Quick and a few other guys like that. But then Ralph really was the first guy to take it to the internet, and really crush the internet with it. And like I said, although he was edgy and he would, attack people here and there, it was always usually in good fun, and it was never vicious, he'd never make up a lie about anyone or anything like that. So I always respected Ralph, and I know he got kind of back into it a little bit, right? But I mean, is he still around or what?
You know what? I'm not even sure. I thought that was a question I wanted to ask. Do you still touch base with some of these guys and stuff like that? Because he was always there. Like, I mean, he was like a legend, rock star. You saw the snake with the King Ralph, and I was like, man, this guy's badass.
He was a rock star. There's no doubt about it. And I always tell people that there was like two separate ways of doing things. The one way was like Pete Call was. I always called Pete Call the Hugh Hefner of the snake world.
100%.
I mean, like, you go there and I tell people this all the time. Like, if you hated snakes
and you went to his place,
you went to his place, you would open your checkbook up to buy. You'd be like, drain my bank account. I want to be this guy. I want to be Pete Call. Because he was like, I mean, he might as well have had the grotto with the naked chicks out back, because I mean, he was the Hugh Hefner of the snake world. And then you had the Ralph Davis that was kind of like a rock star-y type of a guy, real in your face, bigger than life. And then you had guys like me that just were like in the background grinding, man, just like working, man. And although we were out there like, promoting and trying to do things the best we possibly could, you always tell people, like, I was the opposite of Pete. You come spend a week with me, you'd be like, I never want to work with snakes again, because this guy doesn't sleep, man. This guy just works day to night, man. And I never, and still to this day, it's not that, I mean, I have I have some nice things and stuff like that, but I don't, for the level I'm at in life, I don't spend money on myself hardly ever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very, very modest, and people probably don't. I mean, I guarantee, I always laugh about it, because if I roll up in my 2012 Chevy Silverado, you probably don't think that I'm anything, right? You know what I mean? I got my jeans on, my freaking hoodie. I'm like, no one's paying me any like, this guy's like, worth millions. I doubt that anyone's going to believe that.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, it's I don't know, the hobby right now, I think, is so is in such a great place, like you were saying. It's almost like it's contagious. If somebody came now, and joined a group or went to an expo or watched, a video like that we're doing now of eggs and unboxing and teaching, and they see the amount of people, it's almost like, how do they not want to get in?
Yeah.
Where back in the day, it was like you almost had to, you had to talk people into getting into it and explain so hard. And then they would try it, and then they'd get the shit kicked out of them on groups. Remember, like, King Snake, the forums?
Yeah, King Snake, the forum. I mean, dude, I mean, it was the most vicious place. And that's what I was saying, is that, like, now you guys, I mean, listen, everyone's going to have some friendly competition. That's part of life, But at the same time, I think you guys celebrate each other. When you do something great, you've got, Justin congratulating you, or this person or that, and that was something that I really, in the early days, again, when me and Kevin and Tracy, we were like that. We were all like really friendly with one another, and always, even though we wanted to be the next person with the next ball python, we also appreciated and respected each other.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, there went that period of time where, like, everyone just hated each other. I mean, you go to Tinley Park, and like, there'd be 80 different segments of people that you wouldn't even like make eye contact with,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, this group hated this group, and you couldn't possibly go out to dinner with this group, because if you went out to dinner with that group, then this group would hate you for going out with that group. And it was pathetic,
Reptile,
and that's when I just got
Reptile
I just got
Reptile High School.
It was terrible, and I always say, and I know that, he loves it when I say it, but I think Brock Wagner led the way on that whole front, man. I mean, he was one of the most vicious people in the hobby, and every time I say that, he threatens to sue me. But I can tell anybody anything I want about. I can have an opinion about anybody. And he said some horribly vicious rumors about me that were complete lies. And he was a leader for a while, and his leadership was horrible. and I'm glad that maybe he's still in it, and I wish him all the best in the world. But I'm glad that he's not the guy that somebody looks up to now, and they look at guys like you and the other people I mentioned, because like you said, now you look at you guys and man, you're like, this is it. Billy, I can't tell you how many people that when I was really deep in the game, I was obviously one of the big guys that people come to spend big money, right? So when a new guy would come in and want to spend $150, $200, $300,000, I was often the guy that got most of that money, And I can't tell you how many guys got into it, spent hundreds, sometimes even close to $1 million, and then like 6 months later, were like, I fucking hate this. I hate this. I don't want to be involved with this group. And literally giving their animals away for like pennies on the dollar just because they hated the thing. Now it's like, it's such a friendly, awesome thing. And people are excited about it. And sure, I'm sure there's jerks, and I'm sure that there's issues here and there, but nothing like before. And I think it's like I said, even though I'm an insider, I'm kind of an outsider a little bit because I look in, and I'm just so proud of you guys because I think that this is the way it's supposed to be.
I think so. Yeah. Like, I mean, I think having, I really, when I had that very first, like that contest, and then I'm like, well, I'm going to have a contest, and hey, Justin, do you want to come be here? And then I invited other people. You guys came the second year, Miguel and everybody. When everybody was in that one room.
They were there the first year with Gavin. Gavin was your first contest winner.
Oh my God.
Gavin.
I thought you were second year.
No, that was the first year.
Oh.
That was the Brian and Forrest and Gavin.
Yep.
See how long ago it was, man? I'm jonesing
for
right?
It feels
like it was forever.
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem.
But when everybody was there and under one roof and just talking, and we were all vlogging, and oh my God, nice to meet you. And it was just, there was nothing, I can't even explain it. It was such an amazing feeling to see everybody into one roof, talking, being social, enjoying what we do, and sharing and vlogging, and it was just amazing. It was surreal, actually. And other people were like, oh my God, I would die to be in that room, and man, I'm here in the room and I'm dying. It was just so amazing, and I really miss it. And I think, even now with all these collabs and people doing stuff on social media, I think it's amazing for the hobby. It really is. And you get different people's perspectives. You get other people, I hate this gene. Well, you hate that gene. Oh, I like this gene. Well, why do you hate it? Well, because of this. Cool. And people can have opinions, and they don't even have to be agreeable in the same group. Like, he has stuff that I hate, I have stuff that he hates, but we can still talk and move on forward. Back in the day, oh, you work with that? Oh, I'm not talking to you. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It was crazy. Yeah. You were segregated for having an opinion.
Yeah, or people would be like, "Oh my God, that project! Don't buy that project because it's this or it's that," or just like stupid things like, "Oh, pinstripes! Oh my God, they're lethal if you breed them to." It's like just lies. You're just like, what are you talking about? And of course, the whole spider thing, that happened a couple years ago was just another debacle that was really didn't even come from the reptile hobby. It came from young YouTubers that didn't know anything about the hobby at all. It's just they just started bashing the spider gene. Don't work with spiders, and next thing you know, everyone thought spiders were the worst animal in the planet. It's a shame, but I agree with you. I think it's listen, that's what I always was shocked at and like so disappointed, because you got to remember, we were in the hobby when it was a hobby. There was nobody doing reptiles for a living. There was no industry. There was no money in it. And all the people back then, from Mark Bell to Gary Sipperly to you name the list goes on and on. There was no money in it, so we all just like got along because we all shared the same passion, right? And then somewhere along the way, the money kind of just distorted everything, and it just it became. And unfortunately, I was. I'm not, like I said, I deserve some of the criticism from the standpoint that the early snakebite days, we did really edgy shit, but at the time it was like kind of acceptable. Like, it's so funny because in the early days, people would be like, oh my God, I want to see Chewy get bit more and more and more and more and more. Then 5 years later, that same guy that kept on commenting about how much he wants to see Chewy get bit would come back and say, I can't believe Brian would do that. What a terrible person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was like, it's kind of like, so many things that we can't do today that we could do 5 years ago. and what in 5 years from now, what I'm doing today might not be acceptable. And I could go back and like edit the past and delete things, but I've wanted to. I've lived with my past. I've learned, and done things. But it was, like I said, I'm not saying that I wasn't completely exempt from hatred, but that I guess I was an easy target for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think, I was always the nice guy, so I was always the guy that wouldn't fight back. I mean, I wasn't going to beat someone's ass, so no one was afraid of, the retribution. I didn't talk bad about people. So, like people wouldn't talk bad about Ralph Davis because if they did, they knew he'd pull a Donald Trump on them. You know what I mean? He'd be like, you say one bad thing to me, I'm going to say 100 bad things about you, And so people were afraid of him. Well, I wasn't that way. So no one could fear that. They knew they weren't going to get me to, as a matter of fact, there were some people that I had unbelievable amount of dirt on. I'm talking like shit that would bury them, that would attack me online and say things about me. And I just thought to myself, wow, if I didn't have more integrity, I would literally destroy you right now. But I didn't. So I think that was the idea. And so it was just I always call it the dark ages of the reptile world, when just everyone hated each other and it was just vicious and nasty. And like I said, those people that were just getting in and getting out because they were like, I don't even want to be involved in this world. And it's a shame because we all just love the animals. That's what I didn't understand. I'm like, how, like, this is the thing, Billy. Like I said, listen, there's a million reasons why you may not like what I do. You may think that I'm arrogant. You may think that it's all about me. You may think that you can have any opinion you want. You may think I just care about money. You could think all those things. All of them are wrong, by the way, but you can think all those things. But you know me. Everyone in this room has met me. If you spend 10 minutes with me, you may not agree with what I do, but you can't hate me. Right. I'm not a hateable person. You know what I mean? Like, no, in my whole life, no one ever hated me until the reptile hobby hated me. And that was what was so weird about it, right? It was just like, how did I become the most hated guy in reptiles? So thankfully that world is gone now, and the hatred has kind of died down and the negativity has died down. I hardly ever see negative comments about me. Every now and then I do, but usually it's stuff that now would be said about you too. Like, I can't believe they're keeping those snakes in boxes, stuff like that. Yeah. And so that stuff it doesn't even bother me anymore. But it's certainly, hey, listen, I'm not going to lie. It was a painful time in my life, to not be able to go to Tinley Park. That's why I stopped going to Tinley Park. It's because there were so many people that were there that were so unbelievable vitriolic against me. I didn't want to be in the same room with those people. And that sucks. And like I said, now times have changed, and I think that I will go back to Tinley, when Tinley comes back around. I don't know, I doubt it'll be this March, but I think it'll be next October for sure. Hopefully. And I'd like to go back and I won't vend there. I'll never sell snakes again at a reptile show the rest of my life. I mean, that's just not my business anymore. But I'd like to go and just hang out with, my friends like you, and hang out with you guys. And same thing up at the, CRB and stuff like that. I just like to come hang out. But yeah, it sucked there was probably a 5-year window where the industry that I wasn't the only guy that built the industry, but I was certainly an integral part of building from a hobby to a multi-billion-dollar industry. Again, I'm not taking a lot of credit. I'm just taking a little bit of credit. And it was a bummer because I was as passionate as I am now about the reptarium and social and all the things like that. I was that passionate about the reptile hobby. Yeah. Right. Like making the reptile hobby. And even in the snake bites days, even though I made a lot of mistakes, if you guys know, like I never promoted BHB ever. Like I never talked about BHB on snake bites. I was just trying to promote the hobby, and I loved it so much. So that's, I think, why it was so hurtful, was that this hobby that I loved so much and I put my entire life into building, all of a sudden turned their back on me. And what I think the worst part was, guys, is that like my friends turned their back on me too, and that was the thing that bothered me. Either my friends started talking bad about me for no reason, like Sean Bradley was a good example, a guy that for 15 years he said I was his mentor, and then all of a sudden he went on a 3-year tirade saying what a horrible guy I was, Yeah,
it was horrible. Like, some of those feuds, I'm like, oh my God. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was, and again, I had done nothing to him ever. So it wasn't like I screwed him in a deal. Me and Sean hadn't done a deal in probably 10 years. Not anything, not buy, sell, trade, anything. And all of a sudden, I went from his mentor to being like this, like on this tirade. And I think, and he even mentioned it. He said, at one point he said when he got on meds, he said like, there was nothing I could do that could get me more attention than bashing Brian. And that's why I did it. And then 6 months later, he started bashing me again.
Wow. That's crazy.
So it's like, okay, well, I guess it didn't work. And
there was a time online there though where bashing Brian was the cool thing to do. Like
Oh yeah.
hating on
Facebook,
Brian was the thing. It just made no sense. Like nobody had a reason to be doing it. They just you say his name to get people to go, yeah, me too. Like
yeah, it was really crazy because it was like almost every video you could find on YouTube, there'd be a comment about me. It having nothing to do with me. Like it has nothing to do. Or it'd be like, hey, how do you guys like corn snakes? It'd be like, I liked them before Brian fucked it up. What? Like what? It was a crazy thing. But thankfully, like I said, that world is gone now. That I think people just got over it, realized it was stupid, and it was being really, the initial thing was really being perpetuated by just a handful of people. And by the way, if my dogs start barking, the truck just pulled up, a UPS truck. So I apologize, but they may not. We'll see what happens. But yeah, like I said, it's good that that's behind. And now I'm in the back. Listen, guys, although, I just came out of a horrible anxiety bout. And like I said, getting almost back to normal. I'm in the best spot of my life, the happiest spot of my life. I love doing the reptarium. I still love breeding snakes. Everything I do is amazing. So I don't, and this is the funny thing is, and I'm sorry that I'm dominating the conversation here, but the interesting thing is,
it's a nice change.
Yeah, it's like that's what they say on my podcast when Lori and Noah are on my podcast. They're like, Brian never stops talking. He just needs to shut up. But what I'm saying is that, what's interesting is the guys that were really trying to make me the bad guy in the reptile hobby are the ones that forced me to make life decisions that put me into the best spot I've ever been. Mm-hmm. If they wouldn't have done that, I would probably still be doing the same thing I've always done and not be as happy as I am today. So in actuality, they did me a huge favor, because they set me on a course that I could never be more happy than I am now with the direction in my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, man. And I mean, I say that so many times. There's so much shit that I had to do and hoops I had to jump through and hurdles. And, it was like, wow, kept getting kicked and getting back up, keep getting kicked. And it's just, I feel that what my past has made my present, I wouldn't want to change it because I'd probably be different of who I am. Yeah. And why I love to give back and why I like to help people so much and do what I can, because I don't want people to go through all the shit I had to, or other people that, there's a way to do this. And, with everything out there on the internet and people so willing to help, it's great because it just stimulates our business. It stimulates the community. It makes it inviting, and it just, we're pushing it in the proper direction, not, one step forward, kick person 5 steps back. I mean, a person can only take so much before they're like, what, fuck this community. Everyone's an asshole. Everyone's just trying to, rip me off, or it's not a good feeling because I've been there. I mean, we've all been there from the past. And, if you see the way the community is now, shit, man, I wish, it was that easy for us, because who knows where we'd be with all the, the positivity and the help and the guidance and the knowledge that's there for people today. So
yeah, I agree with you. And, there's obviously a saying that, all ships rise with the tide, and that's what I never understood. Even like in the social game, in the YouTube game or Instagram game, I've always found it interesting the people that like don't want to help others. It's almost like if someone's like, well, gosh, if Billy's videos are doing good, my videos aren't going to do as good, which is total bullshit. Yeah. Like if your videos do well, then more people might get it. I might get in a recommended video of yours that might make my video do better. It's like people don't just watch one person. People aren't just like, oh, I'm either going to watch Brian or I'm going to watch Chandler, and I'm not going to watch both of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, no, man, me and Chandler are buddies. I mean, we hang, we talk all the time. It's like, I want his videos to do well, because if his videos do well, there's a chance mine's going to do well. And there's just like, and that's something that's weird, but in the YouTube world, there's a lot of that goes on, not just in the reptile world, but in the actual greater YouTube world. Because again, a lot of the, my kind of circle of friends in the YouTube world are monsters. You know, I mean, they're you know, they make me look like a kindergartner. You know, they have 20 million subs. You know, whereas I'm just a little guy. You know, but it's interesting to see even that world how some groups are like. You know, I remember once it was funny, and this is no bash on this guy at all because and I know he's another guy that gets so much hate, but it's Logan Paul, who's a friend of mine, and I've known Logan for many years, and like I said, he's always been super gracious to me, like on everything. But I remember at one point, like I said something about like an Instagram post. I'm like, hey man, do you mind if you tag me in an Instagram post? Because I did him a favor, and he was like, oh man, dude, you know, I don't like doing that on Instagram. I keep my Instagram just to me. I thought, like, why? Like, why would it hurt your Instagram to tag me in a post? You know what I mean? But there's that weirdness. Now, and like I said, I'm not trying to bash Logan because he's been very gracious on every other thing that I've ever done. It was just on Instagram. He had this weird, policy where he didn't want to help anyone on Instagram. Whereas I don't care. I'll help anyone on anything because I realize that helping other people, much like ball python world or the reptile world is, helping someone else succeed does not stop you from succeeding at all. As a matter of fact, it helps you succeed because if you, for instance, sell someone a really cool project and they breed it and they produce more, two things are going to happen. One, they're probably going to spend the money they made on that with your next project because they had a positive experience. And number two, they're going to tell all their friends how their project did so well coming from you. And that's going to get you more business. And it's so crazy that so many people were so short-sighted, thinking that all they cared about was that one sale rather than the longevity. And that's why, being in this business for 32 years, I mean, listen, and that's what I always said when 5, 6 years ago when I was getting all that hate, I'm like, do you seriously think I could have survived being one of the biggest names in the business for 27 years by screwing people that 27 years? Come on, guys, just use your brain. I mean, obviously I didn't screw people, but it was really, I was an easy target. Then that's what I said. So I think it's great now that the environment is positive, it's good, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, I think
social media probably plays a big part in this too.
100%.
Like everyone could help each other out and just communicate all over the world. So it's not just
it's great. I mean, social media, when it came, it was just like, wow, it just opened my eyes to see what else was out there instead of my small little circle of ball pythons that we could see here in Canada. And, it was like, wow, look what it's doing. And it's even the stuff from Europe and all the new lines and the new genes and, the new friends. And it was just, it's awesome. But I think that people, what I like to say is, you can have an opinion. We don't always have to like the same stuff or breed the same way. And I've been like that. I mean, I've been getting shit on for 10 years for cutting with scissors. Oh, you cut with scissors. Oh, you're going to hurt the snake. I'm like, fuck, how? I mean, you should cut. And I always get it. You should cut with a razor like Brian. You don't think how do you think I fucking started? You think I just said, oh, let me just grab scissors? No, I tried using a razor and I've tried cutting it and it was, I guess after a while it was dull and I tried doing it and it slipped and I cut my own thumb and then I've cut it. I've done it too deep and I actually cut a snake and I'm like, what? I didn't feel comfortable. So it's like, you know what, let me try this. And oh, fuck, scissors work better for me. And I put it out there. But people are like, oh, you should do this. Why? This is what I feel comfortable doing. And the funny thing is most people now, because they're not so level-headed, back in the day, oh, you have to use a razor. It's only one way to cut eggs. Well, no, there's not. Some people hated you for cutting the fucking things. So there was the people that hated you for cutting, and then other people hated you because you didn't cut with a razor. Well, I don't feel comfortable doing it. And then now people are like, hey, shit, Billy, I've tried the scissors. And it actually is fucking, it's easier. And now I got all these people that, for 10 years of the bullshit that I've, had to suck up, but I wasn't changing because that's what felt comfortable to me. And now all these other people, it's like, I started a scissor revolution, it's crazy. But 10 years, it's an opinion.
The scissor stock has gone up.
Yeah.
Everyone's buying scissors.
But I didn't tell people, hey guys, using a razor, you're an idiot if you do that. No. But I'm an idiot for using scissors. No, I feel more comfortable. It's my opinion. If you want to use a razor or you don't want to cut at all, I'm not going to bash you. That's your opinion. That's the way you want to do it. Good for you. Everybody out there, no matter what we do, how we breed, what type of bedding, if you breed live or frozen thawed, there's options that you can do and you do it because it's what you feel comfortable or what is more accessible for you.
Yeah.
Don't hate on someone because they don't do it the exact same fucking way you do. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
No, well, it's interesting. It's kind of like similar to what happened with Kevin McCurley with monitors. You know, I mean, like 10, 12 years ago, he was doing the socialization of his monitors, and people started bashing him. The monitor community was like, that guy is going to stress his animals out. You know, it's terrible. And I remember the forums, again, King Snake forums.
King Snake, yeah.
I mean, oh my God. I mean, Kevin was the most hated guy in monitor lizards, you know? And now you fast forward 10, 12 years, and everybody uses the technique that Kevin did. Everybody. There's nobody that is back. Because it used to be like, you hatch a monitor out, you leave it alone for 6 months. You don't touch it. You just leave it in a cage.
Don't socialize it or nothing. No, you just leave it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you just leave it because it stresses it out too much. Now everybody, as soon as they're out of the egg, are socializing them, you know? And now we've got this whole group of people and whole group of animals now that are like dog tame, you know? Whereas before they were ripping your face off. But Kevin had to endure the same thing, right? For years, people were like, he was the most hated guy for doing it because he didn't do it like everyone else. Just like you with scissors, you know.
I just hate that.
If you cut scissors, doesn't look at Jesse at Freedom Breeder. He like rips the eggs. I mean, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. You know, don't cut the eggs. I mean, Jay Brewer rips the snakes out of the egg. I mean, do whatever you want as long as the snake is okay. You know, I don't care what you do. You know, and because I still take a little grief every now and then about I don't like the fact you're cutting the eggs. You should let it be natural. Like
we always will.
Yeah, whatever. I mean that you know what do you know. You don't have to cut your eggs. I don't care, you know. And I tell people it's just two purposes, right? I mean, every now and then, once in a blue moon, you save a snake's life, right? You know, whether it's umbilical twist or something like that. But I'd be a liar if I said that was the reason I do it. I do it because I'm excited. I want to see what's in there, man.
I'm impatient. That's what I tell everybody. There's no, you know, but by being impatient and doing that, I've probably saved more animals by cutting than not cutting. So
absolutely,
that's
100%.
my preference, and that's what I've seen. And it wasn't like, oh, I cut 2 clutches. I've cut thousands. So I have you know a track record of opinion and seeing things that I feel comfortable with, and I continue to do it. And I don't understand, like you were saying, if you were ripping people off, how the hell would you last for 27 years? If I was cutting eggs and they were dying, why the hell would I keep doing it? Because where am I getting my stock or my money from to buy more stock if I'm cutting and killing? Oop, that one died. Oops, let me keep doing it. Like, I'd be an idiot if I was injuring the animals, you know?
Yeah.
And
I've been cutting eggs since the early 90s. I've been cutting eggs. I can't recall one egg I've ever cut that I've killed a snake. Everyone. That doesn't mean there haven't been snakes that have died in the egg.
Correct.
But I certainly can't ever attribute one egg to an egg cutting ever once. Never once went dead. So it's a silly thing, but you know, like I said, people you know there's always something to complain about, and that's what I don't care. You know, that's the other thing, guys, is that like I think that when maybe the tides turned. When like all this hatred kind of went away for the most part. I mean, there's still like the hardcore people that are going to hate me no matter what. But for the 99% of the hatred is gone these days. Like, I mean, Billy, I'm not kidding you. 5 years ago, if you'd say I was on your podcast, you would have had 1,000 negative messages. Jeez. You know, saying I can't believe that you're having Brian on. He's such a piece of shit. You know. And that just doesn't happen anymore. Not to say you're not going to get any negative, but for the most part, it doesn't. But I think when that changed is when I stopped caring what people thought. I literally stopped caring. I mean, like now I read a negative comment and I literally feel bad for that person. You know, I think like a Sean Bradley, who's obviously out of the business now and stuff like that. But like I look back on it and I think, you know, he didn't hate me. He hated himself. And he hated himself so bad that he wanted me to feel as bad as he did about his life, right? And so the only way he could feel better was to try to make me feel worse. And that's on him. That's not on me. You know what I mean? That's not on me, you know? And I know, like I said, not everything that was said about me was a lie, but 99% of what was said about me was lies. And now I don't care if people make stuff up about me. It just doesn't bother me. I just am like, okay. You know, I mean, just today I had a comment on YouTube. And again, if you read my YouTube comments, I get 1,000+ YouTube comments a day. And, you know, there might be 1 or 2 negatives, you know, And don't get me wrong, they stick in my head a little bit more than the other ones.
Yeah, they
But
do.
It's
they
a
do.
weird thing.
They fucking do. People are like, oh, don't let it get to you. It doesn't, but it does a little. Like, it's like, fuck, like, what am I doing? Like,
Because they always say something so like so dumb almost.
So stupid.
you know, it'll never
Like, it's
affect,
like,
it'll
what?
never make me stop. It won't make me change, but it fucking bothers me still. Like, motherfucker.
It always seems to catch you at the wrong time too. You read it and you're like, "What are you? Come on!"
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
dicks.
well, like I said, I remember them, but I literally get no emotion out of it anymore. I'm like, whatever. But like the comment was something like, because I showed some new snakes I got, and the comment was something on the lines of like, it's a shame that they're going to be, abused the rest of their life living in a Tupperware box, and you're just like, you almost just like, I didn't even respond.
So
I'm just like,
uneducated.
okay, whatever, like whatever. I remember when the spider gene thing happened with that whatever the fuck that kid's name is.
The white Afro kid.
Yeah, there you
Call him
go.
Kirby.
Yeah, that
Um,
kid. Let's not even give him the attention.
Yeah, that guy.
Don't even say his name.
No.
Yeah, hell no.
I don't care.
Let's just call him.
No.
But anyways, so I remember first he attacked me, which by the way, I give the kid a lot of credit because he had like no views on YouTube hardly. He attacked me and his channel blew up, man. I mean,
He
and
made
then
a career
spent
off of you.
Yeah, and then the next 6 months, like every other video had my name in the title or him bashing me. And this is some 18-year-old kid, right? But anyways, the point was is that he, like Kevin put out that video that was like kind of the rebuttal to the spider gene, right? And like it was funny because the whole video was kind of bashing that kid's opinion of the spider gene. But yet this kid literally posted a comment that says like, I really respect your opinion, Kevin. I'm so glad you can be level-headed, unlike Brian BARCZYK, blah, blah, blah. And then Kevin responds like I'm thinking to myself, like, did this kid even watch the
it?
video?
Yeah,
the
like,
entire video,
he's
the entire
burning
video
you,
is
dude.
basically asking you. And so sure enough, as we know Kevin, he don't give a shit about anything. He literally starts fighting with the kid, like, hey, by the way, you moron, like I was attacking you, And then it turned into this thing where like this kid not only was like attacking Kevin, but then all his minions started attacking Kevin on this thread on Kevin's video, right? And Kevin's calling me like every day, like these motherfucking kids, I'm gonna fuck it, he's like going crazy. And I kept saying, Kevin, stop, don't respond. And Kevin would like nail him with like the best, like like he'd have like all this analytic stuff, and he'd like have all this research. And I told him, I said, this is the thing, Kevin. I said, you're gonna say like, hey, we breed pug dogs that are mutations. We do this, we do that, we do this. All these types of things, right? And what they're going to come back in every single time when you hit them with all that information, they're going to come back and you're an animal abuser.
Yeah.
And that's what was happening. Didn't matter that he could fight till the end of the time. Their response was, you're an animal abuser.
Yeah. He had
Because
valid
people fight
points
off of
and
it.
research and experience behind the statements, and all these guys, fucking keyboard warriors, man, like the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so ultimately, after I think it was like day 4, he called me up and he goes, Brian, you were right. I should have never responded. He's just like, I'm done. I'm not going to read it anymore. Because he was spending hours a day fighting with these people.
Yeah.
I don't.
Useless.
This is the most I'll ever comment if somebody says something really horrible. The most I'll ever comment, you'll see this if you ever see my comments. I'll usually just comment back, you seem like a really nice person. That's my comment back to everybody.
See, I gotta learn from you because my response is a little different.
Austin just puts a clown emoji.
Yeah.
I sometimes try to pick up Billy's bad comments before he sees them.
Yeah.
Just in
Oh.
case.
It is what it is.
I don't care. Like I said, it very rarely happens, and when it does, I really feel bad for them because I've been, listen, my livelihood is social media, right? I mean, that's, I've worked with animals, but my main income is social media. And, it's the only thing that I get a paycheck out of. I don't take a paycheck from any of my other companies, except for social. And I have never once left a negative comment on anyone's video ever, on any genre.
Better
ever.
man than me.
If I watch, I'm not saying I haven't said something negative back in my own threads or something like that, but literally, like if I don't like someone's video, I just click off it. I don't need to tell them I don't like it. I just click off it and I move on.
Well, I don't keep going back. I mean, there's a few there's a few people that I would make a comment and then I'm like fucking done. Like you said, I can't watch them. I can't stand them. I don't want to support them. I don't even care what goes on. I'll hear it somehow and go, really? He did that? Oh, well, moron. But it makes me feel glad that I'm not following them. but I don't have time for that. You know, I don't keep going on and like trying to stir the pot. But
Yeah. Well, you know, there's a Gary V said this. You know, Gary Vaynerchuk.
yeah,
said
Gary
that,
V, man, is awesome.
Yeah, I love Gary. You know, he's never met Gary, but we've had some communication back and forth. And you know, he sent me his book when he first published it, stuff like that, which was awesome. And he's a good dude. But nevertheless, he said negativity always wins the short game, but positivity always wins the long game. And if you see that, if you even in the ball python world, if you look at the people that were negative, they've now went to the wayside and are falling off or barely are surviving. And the people like yourself and all the other people I've been mentioning that, you know, try to stay positive, try to have a good message of like enthusiasm, love the animals, do the right thing. You know, you guys are the ones that will thrive for years and years and years and years to come. And the guys that are, you know, going to build their business by trying to tear other people down will fall off. And they'll never survive. You know, you build your business on you. You don't build your business on how bad your competition is. You know.
Yep.
You know, that's just the reality of it.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a whole bunch of super chats. I don't even know.
many.
I don't know if we can.
That's it.
I don't even know if we can catch up. But here we go.
It was a good
my,
talk.
My man Shane Orton. It's his fucking birthday.
I get to
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Shane.
Yeah, and what does he say?
I get to watch Brian on my channel, my content. Best birthday ever.
Yes.
Happy birthday.
Nice.
Happy birthday,
Thanks,
man.
Happy birthday, brother, man. Hope you have a great one, man.
H&H Pythons.
Thank you, Brian and Billy, for being amazing people. We are in Burton.
Michigan.
There we go.
No idea where that is.
So that's like
It's not that terribly far from me. I mean, it's certainly close. So come visit me if you haven't already been. Come hang out, man. We have a great time every weekend.
Oh, Nick
Can't
White.
believe you guys aren't taking a picture of that.
I see that. I took a mental
Look
picture.
at look at.
We're at 420.
Oh,
It's
420.
almost time. It's time for a water break. Actually,
That's-
we're out of
Oh,
that's
water.
hold on.
kinda-
Just give it a little. So Nick White, he's from the UK. He's my man. He's awesome, and he finally watched that little spoof that we made about the cocoa.
Oh,
yeah.
true. That
And
was
he's
so
like,
long ago.
"Do you know any dealers in cocoa?"
Oh no.
Here we go.
He's talking about the betting, by the way, Brian.
I caught on to that.
I hope so.
Okay, ready?
You want to say the name? I don't want to mess it up.
Melusine?
Yeah, Melusine.
It's
Exotics.
Melusine, right?
It could be. I don't know.
Oh
I know
my
it's
God.
Kathleen.
I
don't
know it's
how to say it.
Kathleen. Okay, go ahead.
If we're going to shameless plug, I have a podcast and no guests on Wednesday. Chris, you can't fill in again.
That's fine.
Oh,
See, Wednesday.
it's this Wednesday.
I have one Saturday. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Join in.
Who knows? Who knows? Oh, here's one. Creme de la Clutch Exotics.
I love that name.
Bonjour, fellow brothers and sisters. Great things for everyone in 2021. I learned so much from Brian before I even bought my first snake, and now helped me with my anxiety. So grateful. New Royal Hemp bedding launching in January.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, good, man. Well, good. Keep it up, man. And like I said, thank you for your support. And you will. I promise you, the anxiety is beatable, and forever. Not just living with it and dealing with it, but being completely anxiety free is an option, and you'll get there if you try. Got to work hard.
Oh.
I always tell people real quick before we go into a super chat. I got to tell you this. You know, when I always tell people, if you want to, let's say you're not in shape, physical shape, right? Maybe you got a couple lbs on you, whatever the case may be. What are you going to do? You're going to continue to eat McDonald's, or are you going to clean your diet up and go to the gym, right? Well, that's what mental health is about. You can't expect to get better mentally health by not doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wake up each morning and just hope it goes away. You got to work on it the same way you would go to the gym. You got to work on your mind that way. So I'll talk more about that in a future vlog.
No, it definitely makes sense.
That-
Like you're
it does.
right. You just can't hope. Like, I'm this extra 20 pounds. It'll go away on its own.
Yeah.
Man, what fucking world do you live in? No, it's you got to put effort in.
And everything is completely different too. Like every I guess mental state that someone's in is completely different. So
Yeah, and it can be affected by different things or
Yeah.
people around or there's so much.
That's why-
It's not just an easy fix.
yeah, it's
So
It isn't, and that's why you've got to learn a lot of tools to learn. But those tools can be taught, and it can affect every single thing. And I'm a strong believer in that. But again, we won't get into that. But I'll talk more about that in the future for sure.
Oh, and back to Wolfgeist with Team Pickle.
Oh,
So you have a green tree python named
that's
Pickle.
what it was. See,
I was thinking, I was
Well,
wondering that.
speak
That's
the fuck up. What the hell? Like, we're
like-
sitting here, Pickle. What's going on?
We don't want to.
What the, like, dude,
it
come
rang
on.
a bell. It rang a bell for me, but then I just couldn't remember what it was.
to be fair, that
Now it
super
makes
chat was
sense.
probably from like an hour ago.
Okay, but
she probably
still.
did. They probably.
That's
did
like if
chime in
somebody
right
said
away.
something about, like, you know, I'd be like, oh, maybe he's referring to this. Like, come on, Brian. Are you getting that old,
Say
dude?
Team
The
Pickle.
thing that's funny is that it's an eclectic thing, and I've never had anyone. You know how you guys might have like, hey, Team, Billy or whatever. Like no one's ever said Team Pickle to me ever before.
Oh, geez.
that was the first time.
Well, that could be a good thing, depending on who's saying it to you.
Oh no! Oh no!
What's that, JP?
Oh no!
Come on, let's go. Let's keep this classy. Oh my God, that was good though. Oh
Pickles is
boy.
a good animal. As a matter of fact, we just put a male in with Pickles, another BARCZYK green tree python, just the last couple days. So stay tuned for.
Oh my
babies.
God,
Such cool snakes.
Pickle's getting pickled. What? Oh my God.
Yeah. Actually, a
That's
male.
the
We
new
named
thumbnail.
We named the male Gherkin. So Gherkin.
Oh no!
Pickles
Pickle
jerking.
getting jerking.
Oh my God.
Gherkin the Gherkin.
Scales from the Crypt says
Eat a Dig Chad and the Florida
no.
fiance
is back
is
on.
back on. Chad's still a D. Wedding's on.
I don't
I
know.
don't know much about that.
Yeah, no idea. But we're trying to catch up on the chat. That's it. Oh no.
Oh, we just had a big jump.
Hold on.
Yeah,
I don't
hate
know.
when that
Sorry,
jumps
we're
like
missing
that.
all this. 'Cause I don't know how many super chats we've missed, but it's okay. I mean, we're just yapping. This is awesome.
Yeah,
So
and
glad
we
to have you on,
appreciate
my man.
Yeah, no, we appreciate the super chats. I mean, that's how you can afford to. I mean, listen, the thing is that although every chat is important, the super chats for us and for you guys are, listen, you put a lot of money, time, and energy into doing this, and there's a value there, right? And so it's not that you don't value the people that aren't super chatting, because you do, but the super chats are just really a great way to express the fact that, like, hey guys, we know you're taking your time, your money, your energy, and this is us. And I think it's amazing that people do it. I think it's really
The
beautiful.
support of people in the industry is like, this shit would never have happened fucking 10 plus years ago. You know what I mean?
No way.
They were trying to fucking take your money. Never mind fucking help you. Like, people support that, like, you know what I mean? Like, we usually get, like, this is our top. I think Miguel was our second top.
Yeah, Miguel was pretty high up.
But I mean, we always get like, a couple hundred people, that come and support us every week, and we have a good laugh, and hopefully, they learn some stuff. We have some questions that we ask, and the chat's off the hook. It's crazy. Like, I think, you could actually sit there and just read the chats and have a good time. Never mind listening to us.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Well, I do that on our podcast all the time. Like, after I upload it, I go back and watch it, not to watch us, but just to
The chats.
scroll through the chat.
Yeah.
And it's a blast. And the people, I'm sure the same thing with your chats. It's like they're a bunch of people become friends. You know what I mean? Like everything. They don't even know each other, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, this person, and it's such a great community to be built in the chat room. So it's awesome.
Yeah, the support from people going from, they'll go here, they'll go to Brian Cusco, they'll fly over to see, checking in, then they'll go over and seeing like the snake trap, and
the guy that Brian was trying to get me to fight on his podcast. That was cool. He's trying to set up a fight at Tinley.
Like a boxing match?
That's awesome. MJ?
Yeah, MJ.
MJ.
Yeah, do you remember that? He stepped out to go to the washroom, and he was talking about how apparently him and I had beef, and he stepped out to go to the washroom. And you're like, oh, we'll set it up at Tinley.
Let's do it next Tinley.
No,
man.
I actually don't have any
Should
issue
do,
with MJ.
should do
He
like
just,
a boxing match.
No, he actually just called out Tyler that one time. You remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess MJ knew that
you guys were,
I knew.
yeah.
So somebody told him I didn't like him or whatever. But
Oh,
I thought that was
gotcha.
pretty funny.
MJ's a really good dude, though.
No, I've been talking to him recently. He seems really, really
Yeah,
nice.
no, I mean, it's great that everybody has their own little section, and that's why I picked Mondays, because nobody really had Monday, and I didn't want to go, I'm going to go compete against this guy. I don't want to,
Yeah.
I just want to be a part of this
Although
and do something.
I did see somebody posted today, and I can't remember who it was. They said they were. Oh, it was Jeremy from Nerd, Brassman Exotics. He had a podcast tonight at 8:30. But that being said, they I swear to God, they go live like every day.
Day.
I think.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? And like every day they have, and they're doing like that Twitch, which is crazy, right?
Yep.
They're doing it on Twitch instead of YouTube or any other, Spotify or whatever, which I find interesting. But apparently they're doing pretty well with Twitch, which is I mean, I give them a lot of credit. Although I did think it was pretty interesting that Kevin decided. I don't think this was going to work out, but you see that Kevin started an OnlyFans.
Oh,
Did he?
Did he?
You know what? Lord of Lion has one too.
OnlyFans. I swear to God, he started an OnlyFans, which I think that was a little outside the box, man.
Yeah.
But,
That's crazy.
See, you have competition now, Elion.
Oh man, I need to step up my game.
Yeah, you got to start posting, man.
I need to borrow pickle.
You should start. Oh no! What are you gonna do with her?
Oh my God.
Well, I could just show pictures of animals there. I don't have to like.
Yeah, don't show any more pictures of yourself.
Oh my God.
man,
This is crazy, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But no, I just love how people keep, supporting and they'll go. I mean, they're actually really involved and they want to learn and they want to support. And I mean, our podcast is different from yours and yours is different from everyone's is different. It's not like you're watching the same shit, speaking out and.
Well, this is what I always think. I always think when I'm doing things like, what would I have wanted to do before I did this for a living? You know what I mean? So if I was 18-year-old Brian, I'd be watching every one of these podcasts. You know what I mean? I'd be watching all of you guys because I couldn't get enough content of what you might learn. Not just learn about, breeding animals, but learn about the business, the philosophy, what goes behind the thinking. I mean, spending this time, kind of ingesting what you guys have learned for the last 20 years is going to, if at least for me, I've always been a guy that, and I still do this to this day, even at 51 years old, I still, I always say, when my YouTube game really changed and started blowing up is when I started paying attention to my 18 and 19-year-old successful YouTube friends. Mm-hmm. So I learned about YouTube from 18 and 19-year-old kids, man. But they were killing it. And I was like, well, do I want to keep going down the path I'm going now and being mildly successful? Or do I want to emulate this kid? And I was like, I'm going to put my ego aside and say, this kid at 18 knows a lot more than I do. Look at how good he's doing. I'm going to pretend like I'm him, and I'm going to learn it. I sat there and listened to everything they had to say, their philosophy, how they did things, how they approached their thumbnails, how they approached their titles, how they approached, their way they shot things, the orders, stuff like that. And that's what these podcasts, I think, do for reptile people is just, give you an opportunity to see inside the workings of the most successful people in the industry. And that's something that we didn't have when we were growing up, right?
No,
we didn't
definitely
have this,
not.
Man, it was trial and error. I guarantee you, Bill, you'd be watching every one of these if you were just getting going in this hobby. And, you'd be the one, doing the super chat,
Yeah, 100%.
He still does. You're still watching all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I watch as many as I can too, as much time as I do, and so I appreciate it, and I think it's a cool thing for everyone. I love that I love social media. I really do. I think it's the most
speaking of podcasts, so when lately I've been driving my shipments to Montreal, to my U.S. shipments and my Europe shipments. I drive because I don't want to put so many animals because of COVID. I've had like hundreds of animals instead of like 20 or 30 going out every month or so. I had hundreds and hundreds. So I'm like, wow, I'm not putting this in a couple boxes, and I'm driving them to Montreal. So when I did that, I did that a few times. I would put on Snakes and the Fat Man and catch up and listen. Mm-hmm. So I got to give Chris Eaton a shout out, and especially lately, we got off his ass and became a sticker bitch like all of us. And he got his own stickers made, and he got some shirts made. So. Yeah, man. He actually has some. I can't wait to get his sticker, and I'm going to stick it on my sticker wall.
Yeah.
So he finally fucking gave in. He did it. It was great. And he actually went and admitted, it's like, hey, man, I fucking made a sticker. I fucking did. All you fuckers doing it. I feel like I'm trapped. So he did it. Good for him. So I got one coming.
Yeah. Yeah, he was one of the early podcasts for sure. I mean, he was an innovator. I mean, we're all just kind of followers in that sense. But I always tell people my podcast is a little bit different because we don't, now I'm doing like a solo Saturday podcast that I talk mainly about snakes, but most of my other podcasting, we don't even really talk about reptiles much. I mean, it's, one is the family, obviously just talking about family stuff and whatever comes to mind. And then of course, usually, used to be my Saturdays were I call them been wondering, which is just like I've been wondering about exorcism. I've been wondering about ghost hunting. I've been wondering about,
I was just listening to some.
Cool.
Some crazy stories.
But I think I'll start to do more animal stuff. But I've always said I want to leave the reptile podcast to you guys. I don't want to be the reptile podcast. That's not what I've got out to at all. I'll talk about, it's like I've said, I liken it to Joe Rogan in the sense that Joe is boxing, MMA, and comedian, right? And that's always going to be a through story, but that doesn't mean that every guest he has is a comedian, a boxer, and MMA. And that's kind of the way I've done. Like my through story is always going to be animals because that's what I've done my whole life. But that doesn't mean my interests have to lie just in animals. As a matter of fact, in my case, my interests are all over the board. I'm curious about everything in life. I can talk to the garbage man and I'm curious about the garbage, like how does that work? What do you do? And so I want to bring that curiosity to my podcast, and I'll leave the reptile.
Yeah, that's cool.
With you guys.
And you get to learn and ask questions, and there's so much that people out there in all different aspects. Everybody has something different to put on the plate that you can see and go, oh my God, I never knew that. I love learning something, even if it's the weirdest thing, like, holy fuck, I didn't know that. That's so super cool. It's amazing to learn something weird. And you always find out that thing from someone that you least expect it. And
Yeah, we had a few weeks back, Noah was doing a podcast and we were open at the Reptarium, and there was just this dude from Wyoming, and he had like long red braids, long hair, red braid. And Noah was about to go on his podcast, and he was just going to do like a solo podcast talking about stuff. And I went to Noah and I said, hey, dude, there's this kind of interesting guy that just came into the Reptarium from Wyoming. I said, what do you think about us jumping on the podcast with you, man? Just some dude, never met him, never talked to him.
Really?
Didn't even know
just
his
random?
name. I literally walked up to the guy and I said, hey, dude, you want to come on my podcast right now? And he's like, right now? I said, yeah, right now. And we literally went into the podcast room and we spent like 2 hours learning about this kid from Wyoming. And it was great. It was unbelievable. We learned
Amazing.
Like it was all kinds of stuff. We learned like his dad, ended up marrying like a girl that was like 2 years younger than him. And it was like 2 years younger than that. So his mother-in-law was now 2 years younger than him. It was just a crazy thing. And then all
random out of the blue. That's crazy.
Totally just yanked the guy from the Reptarium, man.
Something you would never, that I bet you none of that conversation you'd even have, you couldn't even know any of that would have came from an 18-year-old kid, like random. It's crazy.
It was hilarious, So, anyways, that's what I do with my podcasting, but I love it. And I like I told you before, I think podcasting will be. I think that podcasting will be a bigger part of my future. I hope. Let's say I don't know. I hope, and me, I'll bulldog it to hopefully work. I won't give up, But I hope that podcasting will be a bigger part of my life than vlogging is.
Oh wow!
That would be a nice change too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I could see myself in I think that, I'll stay daily vlogging for a while. I don't know how long that'll be, but I could see myself go down to maybe a 3-day-a-week vlog, but maybe do 5 days a week of podcasting.
Oh shoot, we just lost a lot of, sorry, my screen just went like this and I just lost a whole bunch of super chats.
Oh no.
Okay, we're gonna rip through a few. Here we go. So H&H pythons.
We have.
This is, I guess, the Reptarium.
We have been once, but not met yet, Brian.
So you were out. You were probably traveling.
Yeah, and I'd say probably 99% of the time I'm there. So I'm sorry I missed you because I'm almost always there. But you must have hit that one terrible time when I wasn't. So please come back, and I'll make sure I'm there.
Yeah, I can't wait to go too. We gotta go. We all have to go do a vlog. We're gonna have to figure that out.
You guys will love it, dude. Seriously,
you guys suck. I've already been.
I know. Well, fuck. I know. That's why I said we're gonna go. You've already.
He wasn't there when I was there either.
Well, because he knew you were coming. I gave him a fucking warning. I'm like, hey, fucking Chris was on his way. Thanks, Billy. And he fucking bolted.
A little secret. I actually was there. I was hiding.
Yes.
Well, I knew you were there. Your truck was there, so I assumed.
I warned him.
I know.
He's like, fuck.
It's like that weird guy's coming. Let me leave.
Oh my God, is that guy? No, I apologize.
Like
Seriously, text me. Text me before next.
It was legit. We were on our way to Tinley, and we had to go through Ontario the wrong way. So we were already out of our way enough to hit you on our way there. So we were like, we're gonna just pop in and check it out, and then just keep going. So it was a quick stop anyway.
Was it before or after the expansion?
Oh, it was before. This was the last Tinley that happened.
Okay, yeah,
which
yeah.
was
Yeah. So So you got to come back and see the new place. It's crazy. It's really nice.
Yeah,
Carrie and Barrows have spoken very highly of everything going on there. So
well, when this crap is over, you guys come out. We'll hang out. We'll have a great
100%.
time.
Codex Reptiles, Tri-Straight Unlimited, just a super chat donation. Same with Nick Farmer. Bam.
thanks, guys.
Probably just asked the question, but
Oh, maybe. I'm
I
not
had to
sure.
send it.
We're going here. It says, death of a salesman, honey boy,
What was that?
honey boy.
I think it's just Honey Boy.
Yeah, that's okay. I like hearing him say that.
What does your facility in Shelby breed? I guess that's to you.
Is that to me?
I don't have a facility in Shelby. I don't know what Shelby is.
No, we still. I mean, gosh, we still work with a lot of stuff. I mean, we have. I think we actually just counted. This is including the reptarium, though, but it was 247 species of animals that we work with. And we breed a ton. I mean, we breed things from all the Rhacodactylus, chihuahuas, lychees, cresteds, gargoyles, to leopard geckos, to fat-tailed geckos, to corn skinks, milks, gophers, pines, garter snakes, ball pythons, savu pythons, children spotteds, Antaraceae of all sorts. We breed crebos, we breed carpet pythons, Wilma pythons, blackhead pythons, Brazilian rainbows, Colombian rainbows.
The place to be.
The list goes on. The list goes on. We have a lot of stuff that we breed. I mean, we're still producing thousands and thousands of animals a year.
That's amazing, man.
Probably, in 2020, we probably did about 12,000 babies.
Jeez.
That's nuts.
Since we're talking about species you breed, are you planning on breeding the Cyania that you posted on the weekend?
Well, unfortunately, I've only got a male. So guys at Scales and Tails of Ohio I told them as soon as. So I really wanted the Gemma-cincta was like my real big goal, with the Boega. I mean, there's so many Boega that I love, but I really wanted the Salawasis because I just want that jet black mangrove. But the next up was the Cyania, and so they were getting some in, and I was like, I'll take whatever you get. And it turns out they brought in 4 males. Oh. So there was no sense that I got one male just to play with it and have fun. But so the next shipment they bring them in, I'm the first on the list to get more of them. So they're super cool.
And you already work with the Dendrophilia, right?
I work with Dendrophilia, and Melanota.
Oh, nice.
Right now, yeah. So, and I've been producing both the Dendrophilia and Melanota for the last 4 years.
That's sick.
So they're super cool.
They're all so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the Gemma-cincta are really awesome. And I'd like the Nigroceps. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, I really want all of them, to be totally honest.
So many too.
Obviously, the divergence are. That's another thing that they the guys at Scales and Tails, Mike at Scales and Tails, said that he occasionally got offered the divergence, and he had turned them down because they were expensive. And I said, next time you get offered babies, captive babies, I'll buy them. Just get them, because that's like a dream snake of mine for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really awesome.
Here's Wearin or Weezin to snakes. Oh, Weezin. Weezin to snakes?
Yeah, there you go.
Weezin to snakes.
Yeah, Weezin to snakes, man.
I like it. Must be from New York.
Go ahead.
Thank you for making my daughter's B-day in August when we visited the Reptarium, Brian. We picked up a snake as well. Thank you for all your content.
Oh,
nice. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And yeah, they were able to be here. August was a good month, because it almost felt normal with the exception of masks. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't as packed as it normally, because we limited to 35 people now. Whereas probably I don't know when you stop by, there used to be hundreds of people crammed in that place. So now we're limited to 35 people, but we like it actually. We think it's a really good number. So what happened before is we used to be just like it was $10 to get in. You could stay all night. Now we sell 35 tickets an hour, and so you just get 1 hour, but there's only 35 people. So instead of having 200 people and you can spend 5 hours, now it's 35 people, but you only get to spend 1 hour. You can buy more than 1 hour slots, but it's just a much nicer situation. And so August was great because that was like we had really low cases at the time. It was really nice.
Everglades Exotics. Oh my God, Lord Elion has an OnlyFans. Bye.
Oh, jeez.
So she left. She left our podcast to go see his old.
Yeah, you can see Pickles perched on a perch. So
Oh my God.
Oh my
No.
God.
Oh man.
you put that picture up, dude, you're gonna explode, man. I'm telling you.
Oh jeez.
Paul.
Oh,
man,
Paul.
I'm just gonna pass this one. Everyone in the chat's gonna read. That's fine. I don't know how old this is.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, they read it.
Oh my God.
That if you pass
Paul.
that one, you're gonna find another one very shortly after, so you might as well read it.
Okay, well here we go. Paul, you kill me. I love it. It's so awesome. Here's another one. Interstellar Reptiles Max. Oh my God. Brian, make sure you buy the name BHB Canada just to be safe. So that's a shot at JP.
That's funny.
Yeah. The good, yeah. You know what's interesting is that this is again old wound that I'll tell you is that, and by the way, you know the Sutherlands obviously from Snake Keeper.
Yeah. Dan and
good,
Colette.
Good friends of mine, been good friends of mine for a long time. But believe it or not, way back in the day when the internet was just kind of starting to explode and stuff like that, we had obviously bhreptiles.com. They actually bought bhbreptiles.net and forwarded it to their website.
Oh.
It was a little bit janky because that was back in the day when like BHB like .coms and .nets were almost like, was it going to be
Similar?
Like,
Yeah. Which one was it? Yeah.
Yeah, and so they literally they got my bhbreptiles.net and forwarded it to the snakekeepers.com, which I thought was a low shot, but I forgive them. They're good friends of mine, and I love them to death. And we went to visit them last year, and they're great people.
Well, speaking of that, I mean, I might as well come clean here.
Just say it.
No, so anyways, when me and JP had the falling out, when he just took off and it never gave me any reason, I was just sort of, upset. And a few other things came out, but we've hashed that out. Everything's good. He apologized and let me know why he came to and did what he did, which I understand why, because anybody would. It's just other people chirping in his ear, and knows those chirpers are nothing but chirpers, and we're good. But when he did that, first thing I did was went out and bought jpreptilescanada.com, jpreptilescanada.ca. jpreptiles.ca, and I bought them all, and I still own them for another 2 months. I've had them for 2 years, so that's why he doesn't have a website. But
Oh my God.
but I was going to do the same thing. I was going to actually put, hey guys, we're under construction, but if you want some really awesome snake, click here and it goes to my website. I was going to do that, but I'm like, nah. I mean, the sign was good enough. That was awesome, but you got it. Yeah, take the high road. You'll be fine. You'll be good. I mean, but that's the way I am. I'm funny like that. But yeah, and he actually called me. I actually bought another snake from him, and I'll be talking to him probably. I should give him a call tomorrow. But bought another snake from him, and he's like, "Hey, dude, another couple months still on that thing. Is there any way that, because I guess he's trying to get his website ready." And I haven't been able to reach my web guy that actually went and got it and does all my web design. He's in California. So I've messaged him saying, hey, can I get it off early, or how do I transfer it over? But if not, it comes available in 2 months. But that was funny.
Yeah, I ended up by time bhbreptiles.net came available, I didn't even want it.
Because who does the net? But
it doesn't matter to me. But it's but I'm a big domain guy. I think I probably own about 100 domains myself. So like I buy every domain. Every time I come up with an idea, I just buy the domain. Like the first thing I do if I have an idea to potentially launch something new, a product, a business, anything like that, first thing I do is check out if the domain's available. And if it's available, I buy it. Whether I ever use it again, I don't know. I just want the domain. So yeah, we have like 100 domains of different crazy
I just thought it was fun. I just, you want to be a dink? Oh, and not give me any reason and be like this? Okay. Guess what? Yeah, but this is all in good humor. Here's Nick Farmer. What genes cancel out freckles and banana ball pythons? Enchi for one?
Lesser.
Enchi does, fire does really good as well. Fire does it. Pinstripe typically won't. Yeah, lesser does. Yeah, lesser does good. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, really, to be honest with you. Even champagne stuff typically doesn't have much freckling.
Oh, yeah, banana champagne, yeah.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of stuff. Like, cause I have this really just super clean fire pinstripe banana that I produced years ago. And it's just almost a pet of mine because I don't even breed him, but I just have him because he's like 8 years old and just not one black speck on it, just light, beautiful, fiery. So there's a lot of ways to get rid of the black freckles if you want to.
Cool. I love banana too. It's one of my favorites still.
Yeah, I agree.
Solid Serpent says, Solid Serpents on the IG. Much better. Have to type in code to donate. Just starting to get into ball python game. Thanks. Not sure what that means.
He couldn't type in IG when he was super chatting. It would cancel it.
I see. Okay.
Because YouTube doesn't like people promoting other avenues.
Oh, there you go. See, that's something I didn't even know that. So you can't even put in IG on a few. What the fucking dinks?
Isn't it weird? Yeah, it's so weird how Facebook and Google are arch enemies.
Arch enemies, yeah.
You know, I mean, to the point where a lot of people don't realize this, and they make this mistake. If you might want to correct it. But if you put in your bio a link to a YouTube channel on IG, your algorithm will get caught.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So don't promote a YouTube video in your bio, because you'll actually not get promoted on IG.
Shane Orton, the birthday boy, says Billy Scissorhands meets Brian Bladecheck.
That's good.
That's a good one.
I like it.
I like it.
We got to get T-shirts made.
We got to do that. Yeah, Billy Scissorhands meets Brian Bladecheck.
I like it.
That's awesome.
Let's do it.
That's a good one, man. Shane, look at you.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that like for Tinley October, like some charity thing where we're
For sure,
like,
yeah.
pick up like 100 of them, auction them off, and donate it.
That'd be crazy. Yeah, I'm down. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'll work on that. I seriously will. I'll have my guys design something. I love it, man. Shane, you'll get the credit and you get one for free.
Awesome. There you go.
Of the multiple things Brian's good at, it's pumping out shirts. Oh my God.
It's also his birthday too.
You know, it's
Yeah, I do. Merch is a big game, man. I tell you what, there's listen, we don't make the kind of money that my friends make, but we do pretty good with merch. But I have friends that make like $250,000 a month just selling merch.
Jeez.
Yeah. Just YouTubers, not like Adidas, just YouTubers make $250,000 a month.
Do you ever bring back shirts, like retro shirts that you've sold in the past? Or do you just...
Unfortunately, it's funny. It's just so funny you say that, because I'm about to drop in maybe next month the first retro shirt, which is my most popular shirt I ever sold, which is my Bella banana shirt.
That's the one I want to get.
I'm about to bring that design back. That'll be the first retro shirt that I bring back. Cool. I normally don't bring designs back. I'd like to. The other shirt that sold very, very well, we did probably our second most successful shirt, was the Ben and Jerry's one. But we can't bring that back because the company Ben and Jerry's won't let us do it.
Jeez.
Yeah, they reached out to us. They were super cool, but they definitely were not happy that we used their logo on a snake shirt.
Yeah.
I think this is Dufresne. That's how you pronounce that? Instead of Defresne?
I have no idea.
Dufresne. Dufresne. I don't know. The Dufresne Gallery. Or it could be the Defresne Gallery. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Austin. Take it away.
What does the future hold for the monsoon morph? You
have any monsoon yet?
I don't, but it's one of the morphs that so this is what's weird. I don't invest in ball pythons anymore. I don't invest in any snakes. Now that doesn't mean I won't spend $25,000 on an animal, because I will, but I don't buy them in investment. But that being said, I really like the monsoon, and that's something that I could see myself on. I think that's a project that has a lot of wheels.
Yeah, I mean, I've got quite a bit of it. Hoping. I mean, I actually have some visuals. I just picked up another animal that's really gonna, be key for it. I can't wait to see it in pied. We got 2 or 3 shots at it this year. I think that's going to be something that's just crazy. But I know a lot of people are working at it. I like it. I just hope we see something that can sort of warp the pattern a little crazier, that and get it.
Well, yeah, it'll be interesting to see when you start, getting like leopard or spot nose into it, stuff that does twist pattern a little bit, I mean, and this is the one thing I always tell people is, every mutation we see in ball pythons is basically the same mutation that can be in any animal, right? Like, there's like every a Burmese python to a corn snake to a boa is all capable of having the same exact genes. It's just that ball pythons have been worked with. Number one, they're being farmed so much over in West Africa, and then now being captive produced, that there's so many more mutations. If we were able to farm the same quantity of boas that we did with ball pythons, you would have just as many mutations there as well, right? And so obviously the monsoon is a granite Burmese python. I mean, it's the exact same gene, you know.
That'd be awesome.
So anything you can do with a granite Burmese python, you could do with a monsoon. Now the good news is that in Burmese you do have labyrinth, which is obviously not incomplete dominant, but it's similar to a leopard, you know, but it's recessive. So I'm assuming that like a leopard monsoon will look similar to a labyrinth granite Burmese python. And
I'd have to see one.
No.
I actually hit the world's first leopard monsoon.
Oh, how was it?
It looks like what's that snake?
Like a Burmese?
It looks like a granite.
It looks like a granite
Yeah.
Burmese.
It literally looks like a granite.
Okay.
Burmese.
So yeah, it didn't warp it as much as you'd hope. Then.
No.
Yeah. So
So-
that'll be interesting. But you never know what maybe calico could do. Maybe sugar. I mean, who knows? I mean,
Yeah.
I still think that it's got some legs, and I think you guys will be able to work something out with it. I'd like to just have one because I think they're badass.
Yeah. What do you think about Sunset? I know you were the one that started it all, right? Do you really think it's gonna make the red snake like how most people think? I guess.
Yeah, I think the albino. So again, I keep saying that mutations are the exact same on different animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at what a sunset is a blood red boa or blood boa, right?
Yep.
Same mutation. So when you look at what say the dragon stuff from which is the
VPI albino or cow albino or shark.
or albino hypo, so sun can also be a albino sun glow blood. That I think is what the sunset's going to turn out to be, which is a pretty damn red snake. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure, and I know Miguel has a bunch of that stuff going on, double head stuff. So I don't know if you'll be the first to it or not, or if other people get to it, but I think there's a good chance. And obviously, I won't air dirty laundry, but I mean, I love that project to death, and I'm glad Brian Cusco just gave me one. It's the first one I've had in my collection since they were all stolen from me, and so it's nice to have them back in the collection. I definitely lost a lot of time and a lot of money by losing all my animals, but that's a whole nother story, and I won't get into that.
Yeah.
But, water under the bridge. You know what I mean? You win some and you lose some.
Yeah, but if you actually do want to know the story, go back and check out Brian's podcast that he did with Cusco and MJ.
Oh,
right?
there you go. And then
when he got that animal from Brian, because you went into it there,
Good.
and you discussed it.
Yeah, and I did discuss it. I didn't mention names because I won't do that. But I think anyone that has any brains can figure it out pretty easily.
Yep. Maria, I'm going to say Filimonov. I think I'm going to Filimonov. I think I got it right. My super got missed. Sorry. Wanted to tell Billy my hoodie came in and it's amazing. Also, Brian, please keep daily blog. I start my day with you and end it with MC.
Oh, nice. Well, listen, thank you.
Sloppy
so
seconds, yeah.
Listen,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
right, yeah. But that's only because of time. I come out in the morning. I'm a morning guy. But yeah. Listen, I don't. It's a weird thing. Do I think that I can daily vlog forever? No, it's impossible. I don't know how I've done 1,580 days in a row. That's a lot. I mean, it's like, I actually say this. I say this in a vlog that's coming up at the end of the year, because we film segments sometimes, and I always do a year in review. And I said that. I said most people haven't brushed their teeth 1,580 days in a row, let alone vlog 1,580 days in a row. And but I don't think I'm going to give up anytime soon, because I really do love it. But I also think that YouTube but the audience dictates when your time is up. You know what I mean? When people stop watching, and I don't mean dips. Like right now, we're in the dip right now, as a matter of fact. But YouTube is always a game of ups and downs.
Yeah.
Your videos do well for a while, then they dip for a while, then they do well for a while. If I ever see a dip and it doesn't go back up, then that will tell me that people are done with me, and then I have to change my format. As long as people keep watching and we still, keep having millions of views a month, then I'll keep on daily vlogging, at least for the next. I mean, my gut feeling is I'm going to keep vlogging for the next 2 to 5 years. I don't think I'll get going much past that, but you never know. I mean, I've got a lot of energy, and even though I'm not as young as I used to be, I feel very young and I feel full of energy. So I haven't lost the passion for, every day I get up, I wake up, I can't wait to turn the camera on. So as long as that keeps going, I'll keep doing it.
I find it funny because I remember back when you were on, I don't know, it was like 300th or like 350th. You made a joke about how much longer you could keep doing it. You're like, I don't know, it's getting to be a lot.
Well, at that time, you were editing your own videos, right? Or
yeah. So the last year, the first first 3 years, almost 3 years, I was a one-man team. I filmed and edited everything. I had no production crew at all. I was just one guy. I did every shot, I did every edit, I did everything. Now I have Jay is my filmer, my shooter, as well as my editor. And now I even have a guy named Anthony that's on, and Noah, my son, helps a little bit. So I have a nice little production team that helps a tremendous amount. But I still come up with 99.9% of the ideas in the blog come from me. Like very seldom I get help with ideas but the post-production side and the quality of production is certainly all on Jay, and now Anthony, but mainly Jay is my main guy. And he's a super good dude, man. And he's one of my best friends, one of my brothers.
Sick.
I love him to death. And I love that we get to spend every day of every week with each other, because and this is a year and a half into it, we haven't gotten sick of each other yet, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's what we got to start doing. We're in the new facility, we got a new YouTube room being made. We're going to start doing a little bit, more content and different things, not just what we've been, but doing daily. It's fucking not easy, man. I mean, we've been what, 100 in a row now, maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe 150?
It's been a few months.
Yeah.
And most of it is, like point and shoot and straight to the point, like egg cutting. But
yeah.
But
we have some stuff coming. We got a bunch of stuff planned. We got a nice, exit and entrance into exit of 2020 and entrance into 2021. We got some ideas. We got a few stuff, and a lot of content. Austin will come up with, and why don't we do this? And he's the, the mastermind of taking all the crap we give him and make it pretty neat. But yeah, I think we're gonna be creative, and like now this is my full-time job. I've given the security up, so now we have a lot more time. New facility, a whole new rollout, and us being creative and everybody. Putting our heads together and coming up with some stuff, and but we're not gonna lose the old stuff. We still got the trick shot coming. We gotta stick to our roots too, man. But there's gonna be some new stuff coming.
But it's always about storytelling. It's just about. I mean, with daily, it's about telling the same story 1,000 different ways.
Yeah,
and that's what you have to always think, because it is the same story, right? We feed animals, we clean animals, we breed animals, we hatch animals, you know what I mean? Like it's the same story. I mean, it doesn't change, you just have to figure out, 1,000 ways to tell the same story in a different angle and in a different way and without boring people. But we do occasionally bore people too. I mean, there's times where people are like, all right, I've seen this video 50 times, I don't really want to watch it a 51st time, and we can tell that through our viewership, and then we have to say, okay, well, we got to push that aside and stop doing that again. Egg cutting is a perfect example, like in the beginning of the season, people love the egg cutting. They're just like, oh my God, egg cutting. You get into your, 80th, 90th clutch and people start losing interest, and we ended up filming the last probably 50 clutches and never used them at all. Didn't even use the film. Just scrapped it because we just were seeing our viewership. Yeah, we just saw our viewership falling off every time we cut eggs. So we just decided to stop showing the 50 eggs that we cut, because we would sometimes cut, 8 clutches in a day. Well, we don't want one video to have 8, so we'd have 3 clutches, and then we'd save the 5. We'd be like, oh, we'll insert that vlog tomorrow or the next day or the next day.
Came.
But when but we ended up with about 50 clutches that we didn't ever show, and we just never showed them. They're just sitting in the can forever, I guess. Yeah.
Bye content.
Yeah. But that happens a lot. I mean, we film a lot of content, and a lot of it doesn't make the vlog. If we feel like it just fell flat, it didn't come out the way we wanted it to. Some days cruise. Some days we can crush a vlog in 2 hours. Some days we work 10 hours, and it still doesn't come out the way we want it to. So it just depends on the day and what the story is and what's happening at the shop. Sometimes you walk in the morning and your sloth is running loose. And it's pretty easy to have a
that was a good one.
They
That
run
turns
weird.
into gold. Yeah, you're like, oh, as much as the situation sucks, you go, wow, this is going to be a good video,
content.
and then you don't have to think about it, But other days you walk in and just everything is perfect. You know what I mean? There's no drama. There's nothing to tell. And now you got to go like, okay, well, what are we going to do today? And that's how it is.
Super chat from Everglades Exotics.
Brian, I appreciate the phrase, I promise I'll see you tomorrow, so much. That means a lot to those who can't imagine making it that far. Thank you.
Well, listen, I think the only time in the 1580 vlogs I didn't say I promise I see you tomorrow was my anxiety video vlog. The vlog I came out about my anxiety, and I ended that vlog. I remember it very well with tears in my eyes. I said, I hope I see you tomorrow. That was the only vlog that I've ever ended without I promise I see you tomorrow. And I pray, and not only do I pray, but I promise that you'll never hear that again. You'll always hear, I promise you, I'll see you tomorrow, because life is great. Life is amazing. And no matter how dark it seems, tomorrow's always better, and the only thing we have is hope, and we've got to hang on to that hope. And trust me, like I said, guys, I mean, I'm not joking with you. You couldn't get worse than I was, man. You couldn't get worse. I mean, I'm here to tell you, there were months where pretty much almost every day, all day, I prayed I would be dead. I wasn't going to kill myself, because I would never do that to my family, and I never do that with people. I didn't want to let people down. But if you could have told me that I could walk outside and a truck would run me over, I would have walked outside that second. That's how bad the pain was of what I was going through.
Damn.
And but I still had hope. I had hope that tomorrow would be better, and tomorrow would be better. In many days it wasn't better, but I still got out of bed. But eventually it got better. And eventually it got better, and it was through hard work and dedication. So for anyone out there that's listening now or watches me at any point, understand that I believe in you, and I not only believe in you getting better, but I know you can get better if you work as hard as I did at it.
Yeah, and you see a lot of people doing things. I mean, there's a lot of people with different, mental illnesses, even physical illnesses. Disabilities, and some of the things that people can do when they put themselves and they drive themselves towards it. It's unbelievable. I mean, I see some videos and I'm like, holy fuck, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And it's not because it just happened. It's because they fucking made it happen. They worked, and
you gotta work hard.
And it's not gonna come right away. It's like look at us now. I mean, this didn't fucking come easy. I mean, I put 18, 19 years into this, and it wasn't all, easy. It was hard work, and because I put in and did what I had to do, and now I'm here, and I'm enjoying it, and I'm loving it, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah.
And I'm just moving forward.
Yeah, and I know Jay, my camera guy, won't mind me sharing this story, but he's one of the most positive, upbeat people I've ever met. Every day he comes in, he's excited about working. He's been my right hand man. Many days that we were filming when I was in my darkest days earlier this year, he would have to hold my hand through it every minute. Every minute he'd have to hold my hand, because I didn't think I was going to be able to get through another minute. And he, when he was younger, also suffered with anxiety and depression. And he tried to kill himself a couple times when he was younger. And that's what his message, he said a bunch of times, and I really held on to it. He said, he's so happy with his life now that he's living his dream. He wants to film. He wants to edit. This is what he wants to do. He loves every day of it. And that's what he said. He said, if I was successful killing myself all those years ago, I wouldn't have been able to experience this part of my life, which is so joyful. And that's the mentality that I have right now too, is that, the rest of my life is going to be amazing. I know that I'm going to make that happen. And so I wasn't going to allow that 5 months of unbelievable mental health to take away the rest of my life. And that's what, people have to hang on to, is the hope that you can get past it. You can, and you can. 100% you can. 100%. You can't get worse than I was. You can't. The only way you get worse than I was, you'll be 6 feet under. That's how bad it was. And so don't give up. And tomorrow will be amazing. I promise you.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a water break.
Hey, go water. Go.
Right back.
You go do your water. We have Adam Kummer. And Straight Up Legends, never miss a video. Awesome.
Awesome. Good job. Keep that support.
I'm just scrolling through. I think there's a whole bunch more coming. This is from Maria Filimonov. I got that pretty down.
I think so, yeah.
Billy, have you had a snake eat itself? No.
Brian has.
Yeah.
I had one. Yep,
Yeah.
I did.
I don't think would a ball python do that? Is that ever with?
Yeah. I've seen pictures of ball pythons eat themselves.
I know
And
other
it's
species
definitely-
can. I've seen
Well,
hogs
it's not
do
a
it.
matter of-
Hogs,
It's really
yeah.
not a yeah, it's not. I don't think it's ever a matter of them being hungry or anything like that. I think it's a matter of like a neurological glitch that happens that causes them to just kind of go crazy, you know, and for whatever reason, bite themselves, eat themselves, all these types of things. And I'm not really sure why. I've only had it happen one time. Snake we called Ouroboros, you know, because of the symbol Ouroboros of a snake eating itself, and that was that was during the like really hatred time of my career when people hated me. So it was funny, like people were like, look at how his snakes are so mistreated, they are eating themselves. And so, you know, like all these crazy things went on about why it ate itself. And I thought to myself, okay, we have, 15,000 snakes in this building, and you're saying they're so neglected that because one of them ate themselves. There's all the other 14,999 snakes are neglected, right? So it was kind of a silly thing. But I don't know why. It's definitely a neurological glitch because every time I've ever seen or heard of it, the snake is always like mentally messed up. Like that particular snake was fine. It was eating well. It was doing well. And when I looked at its feed chart, it was a baby albino high white, black and white cow king, and it had never missed a meal. It was about 2.5 months old. And it had eaten from the first time we offered all the way through, and then for whatever reason, it neurologically glitched out and ate itself, and then ultimately died just like maybe a week and a half after it did that, after I got it to regurgitate its tail. And who knows if the actual regurgitation is what caused the damage, or if it just mentally was messed up and died. But it does it's a rare event, but if you search the internet, you'll find plenty of pictures of it happening.
That's crazy.
I've also heard though that anytime if you because I know obviously Brian caught his it was still alive and everything. He got it to regurgitate its own tail and all that kind of stuff. But I've heard, I haven't seen a single story about that happening and the snake being 100% okay after. Either the snake's real wonky or passes away, which is really weird to me. So
it's probably something neurological for sure.
Yeah. It's just something goes crazy. Maybe there's a stroke or an aneurysm or who knows. That's the one thing I think we sometimes often forget is that these animals are animals, right? They're not much different than humans or dogs or cats. I mean, there's going to be medical things that happen. Snakes die out of nowhere that are completely healthy, and there's snakes can have hemorrhages and cysts and cancer and all kinds of other things that and sometimes we don't think about that. A lot of times when a snake dies, people are like, oh, it just wasn't taken care of. Sometimes it was taken care of perfectly and it just died, and that's just the way it goes.
Underdeveloped or growing organs. I know I've had a few. The heart, just keeps growing. It's just crazy. It's just, wow. And you actually see that it's crazy. I'm like, what the hell? And it's just something that, I don't care if you didn't take care of it or you took care of it as best you could with everything. It was bound to happen. I mean, you can't, the organs, weren't growing or growing too fast compared to the snake. It's just shit happens. Just like in every species, there's always something that just, wasn't meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Congenital issues. I mean, you're going to have that. And the larger the number of animals you deal with, the more potential for those problems are, and that's just the way it is. But unfortunately, just like you, when you're putting content out all the time, you're under scrutiny, so you can either choose to lie and not tell people the truth, or you can show them and hope that they maybe learn from it. We've always taken the tack that we're very
open.
We're very open and don't really hide anything. That causes some vulnerability, but to me it's worth it because I don't ever have to look back and say, oh well, shit, I lied. It's just
that's the way I feel. And people that do this, they're going to see deformed babies. They're going to see, the more you do this, the more these things are going to, you're going to see it one time. You might as well be prepared. Don't just think everything comes out perfect and it's, there's amazing, great stuff to this hobby, but there's also some bad stuff. And I'm just throwing it out there that, hey, no matter who you are or how big you are, it happens to all of us. Like, it's not like, I'm mutation creation now. Nothing happens to me. All my animals eat. They're great. Nothing, it's perfect. No, you can't get to that status.
That's the thing. If you produce, 500 babies and 3 of them die, that's really good odds. You know what I mean? That's you're doing really good. Because in any livestock of any sort, whether it be mammals or reptiles or anything, if your morbidity rate is 0.005% or something like that, you're doing good. Really, really good. But now the problem is if you produce 10 clutches, that means every 5 years you're going to have an animal die or something like that. But if you produce 500 clutches, that means every year you're going to have something. That's it's just a numbers game. The more you have, the more you're going to see things. And again, I think that if you show it or I show it or whoever else shows it, it helps people down the road rather than hiding it. I think a good example was nidovirus was a great example, right? Like I think that everyone hid nidovirus to the cost of a lot of people's snakes collections, right? I think if everyone was more honest about getting nido and how they dealt with nidovirus, I think that we would have saved a lot of collections and saved a lot of people's animals' lives. But there were people that, like, when I came out and said, "Hey, listen, we have a section of our collection that we know has nido, and we isolated and quarantined it, and blah blah." And then people use that as like, "Oh, look at his snakes are sick." And these were people that I knew had nido.
That's the funny part.
I knew that they had the same thing, and I thought the only difference is I'm trying to tell you guys this is what to look for, and when you do it, this is how you get rid of it. It took us probably 5 years to completely eradicate nido from our collection. I mean, to where there was not one animal left with nido in their collection. And that was a tough thing, because I lost a lot of animals that I really loved and I worked hard on. But now it's like, again, it took a long time, but I think that, again, people not being honest, like, "Oh, well, I've never had a sick snake in my collection." Like, well, then you're a fucking liar. You know what I mean? Like, whether you had nido or a sick snake, either way, you're going to have a snake that gets sick or dies or gets whatever, and that's what it is. And to me, I would just rather be honest about it. Sometimes that honesty ends up, meaning that you're going to get beat up a little bit about it.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's just the stand that you take. Like, you put stuff out there, and if I put it out, I know I'm going to get stuff back, but at the same time, too, I feel comfortable putting it out. That's what I want to do, and I'll take my shots, but that's the way I want to promote and show people what goes on and what happens. I think as many people hate it or use it against me, there's so many other people will, like you said, it could save them from losing animals or know what happens when they're in that situation, because it's going to come. It's going to come, especially if you keep doing this year after year. And that's the stand, because back in the day, all the animals I lost or things happened because nobody was there showing me. There wasn't no social media. There wasn't a network like this. We would risk it and like, what the fuck? Oh, Guyman died. Why? Oh, I didn't know. It's like you couldn't go to a vet because they thought you were fucking crazy 30, 20 years ago. Yeah. You have a snake and you're trying to make more? What the fuck's wrong with you? Yeah. It's like, so trial and error, man. And I mean, it's hard to lose animals, and especially when you have no idea and you can't reach out to find out what the hell happened, because you're like, how? I've been feeding it. Why? And now, people have to realize that we're dealing with live animals. Stuff happens, you got to be on top of it and be prepared. So
yeah, and I think there's more information out there that again, now you can almost search anything to find like what happened. Or if a snake is. Look at before, people would be force feeding ball pythons because they were off food for 3 months. You're like, what? Like now people know. Like, man, just leave them alone. I've had ball pythons go 12 months without food. Not babies, but adults. And then they go right back into food. I just had a GHO Mojave that literally started eating 2 weeks ago that hadn't eaten since December of last year.
Yep. Isn't
You
it an
know,
amazing feeling too? It's like, oh my God, like it's so excited.
yeah,
and
I was so, and now she's counted, like she started eating and like, and now she's like eating like 8 rats in the last 10 days. You know, I mean, she's just like exploding in size and stuff like that. But, you know, she looked great the whole time. I knew she wasn't sick. I knew there was nothing wrong. She was just on a fast, you know, and most snakes don't fast 12 months, but some do, you know, most fast for 6 to 8 weeks and then they're back on food. But you know, that's just part of it. That's information. Like I said, the more you put that information out there, the more people don't feel stressed about their animal, you know.
Definitely. We have Gerald Taylor says, met Brian and Super Lori at the Reptarium recently, and they are two of the nicest, genuine people you will ever meet. The Reptarium is amazing. I can't wait to see what BHB is doing in the future. Instead of a jet, guys, get an RV.
You're right, guys. You can need an RV. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's thank you for that. I mean, thank you for coming. Thank you for hanging out with us. You know, I always say, you know, honestly, to me, this is just me. I think that the Reptarium is like magical. I think it's just magic to me. I mean, it's everything I could ever have wanted in life. And I always say that, you know, it was the place that I built for little Brian, you know, for little me. You know,
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to go when I was a kid. That was what I built. And we aren't done yet. I mean, we've got more to build, and we got more expansions. We got more cool experiences. But you know, to be able to get to do the things that you can do at the Reptarium are really something that you can't do anywhere else in the world. You know, as a layman, like you guys can, because if you came to visit, you could do whatever. But for the person just walking through the door to be able to hold an albino alligator, or to be able to feed a giant monitor lizard,
Crazy
I mean, the list just
experience.
goes on. It's just crazy experiences that you just can't get anywhere else, and that's why I really do think it's magical, and I feel so blessed to be able to, you know, spend my time there every weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I haven't
every day.
fed an albino alligator, so that's one thing I'm going to be doing for fuck's sake.
There you go.
I'm going to be
Come
doing
on,
all
you
kinds
can-
of shit, you know?
Oh yeah, man, absolutely. There's so much stuff that you can do there. That I mean, it's all about experiences. You know, it's not about looking. It's about being involved and hands-on. That's what we do. It's pretty crazy. It really is.
Well, when we come there, okay, and if a lion says, hey, guys, can I borrow pickles for a minute? Say no. You know, he's going to get the camera and his camcorder and, like, you know, no.
So
Got
this
the
is a
perfect perch.
family place.
I'm not sure his perch is big enough to hold it anyway.
I wish he was here.
He's watching downstairs.
I know.
He's probably commenting. Empire States Exotics, my man. He says, smoke weed. It makes everything better. Yep.
You know, I wish I could. You know, I've talked about this a lot. You know, I really, really wish I could smoke weed. I think it would make it better. I seriously do. I'm just so stressed out about the idea of it. You know, I'm so paranoid about it that I just don't know. You know, I think that you have to be in the right state of mind to smoke weed. You know, I think if you let it like get you like freaked out, especially with someone with anxiety, it makes it worse.
Yep.
But if I could get past that, I think weed would be an amazing.
It's a real thing though. Literally 3 hours ago, I had to call. Well, I didn't call. My wife called the paramedics because she had such a bad panic attack because she smoked a little bit and was in the wrong place, and she has anxiety, and she literally thought she was having a heart attack. She thought she was going to die, and it was so bad. Nothing I could say could get her out of it.
Yeah, I wish I could. I say it all the time, man. I wish I could get past it because I know it would be beautiful. And everyone around me smokes, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, here in Michigan, just like in Canada, it's recreational legal, you know, so you can buy it. You know, if you're over 21 years old, you can buy it and smoke it anywhere you want. And so everyone, you know, we always joke around if I drug tested the crew, I would have no one left because everyone smokes weed. But so I'm not against it. I think it's great. I think it would probably be really good for me, but I'm just not at that place in my life where I think I even want to try it.
Yeah, it's like me. I mean, I'm hyperactive. So when I tried it in my 20s, I tried it like 3 or 4 times. Believe it or not, it made me even more fucking hyper.
Yeah.
You know, everyone else is chill, and I'm fucking, wow, this is, wow. And they're like, dude, man, like we can't give this guy any more. It was ruining their buzz. And
I think
wasn't for me.
Yeah, I think me and you are a lot alike where, you know, like a lot of things go the opposite way than they're supposed to.
Yep.
You know, like caffeine puts me to sleep, you know, like if I drink coffee, I go to sleep, you know. And it's because, you know, you have that really high energy, you know, even if on the outside I might seem like chill. On the inside, I'm like a fucking rolling dervish. And yeah, I think weed might be the worst thing. But I wish.
So here we're getting schooled right now. So my man from Empire State Exotic says indica will calm you down, and then sativa. So it's a different type of strain of plant.
Yeah.
That'll make you crazy. So that's the, that high. The indica will sort of give you that body buzz and sort of,
Yeah, indica-couch.
Oh, indica. Indica. See, there you go.
Well, I think that's the thing that's amazing, right? I went to a dispensary out in Vegas called Planet 13, and I was with a guy that has the largest weed operation in Nevada at the time. We were hanging out that night, and we talked a lot about that type of stuff. Like when I was a kid, people smoked weed, you just like get some bud and you smoke it. Now there's all these different strains, and there's different things for head highs and body highs, and edibles and all this. I don't know anything about it, but I'm sure that it's probably true. I have no doubt about it. I just, at the same time, I don't really need it, so why do it, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I mean, I just turned 50, and I've never in my life taken a drag of a cigarette. Never once. Never with my buddies when we were drunk. Never once.
Can I tell a quick story just because something Brian just said reminded me of when he was down with all them? Just because he mentioned that he doesn't drink coffee. It was later in the day when we were at Billy's facility. But Billy turned to me and was like, hey, do you want to run over to Tim Hortons and pick up coffee for everybody? And Brian looked at Billy dead straight in the eyes and went, you drink coffee? Like, just floored at the thought that this guy with this much energy is willing to
drink coffee.
Yeah, and I drink lots.
Coffee.
Well, the thing I think I was thinking the same thing about me. Like, guys that have this like really high energy, typically when you drink coffee, it brings you down, has the reverse effect. That's why I was like, holy cow, you drink coffee? And then that's crazy, because I was kind of thinking like maybe you'd be like, I mean, I'm not kidding you. If I drink a cup of coffee, number one, I will be like out of my mind for 10 or 15 minutes to the point where you couldn't even follow me. But then I will literally fall asleep on the floor.
Yeah.
I will literally like 10 minutes after, 10, 15 minutes after, I wouldn't make it to the bedroom. I'd just be like, I'll just sleep at the bottom of my stairs. That's fine. That's how coffee does to me. So that's what I kind of thought that maybe Billy was like, maybe a little bit like me, because usually us guys like us have the reverse effect.
Yeah, we're wired backwards.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so now that the boys are back, they went and had their water break.
Got it.
We have a little segment that we sort of go over some achievements that people have done that we sort of follow on Instagram and YouTube or whatever. And there's only 5, and we'll run through them quick. So Kathleen from Melusine, I think it's
something like that. You're close enough.
Melusine. I'm gonna say Melusine. Sounds better. I'm probably wrong, but hey, Melusine Exotics. Her 6-year-old daughter, named Scarlett, had her first confirmed lock on a pairing she picked out herself, which was a pastel to a Mojave asphalt.
Nice.
Congratulations. So 6-year-old.
Can you imagine? 6 years old, man.
Yeah.
Woo, doggy. That's awesome, man. She's gonna
picked it out herself.
Watch out, Billy.
Yeah.
That 6-year-old's already
She's already out
in the
for me.
Dreamsicle project.
Yeah. She's already said she's going to come after me. She goes, yeah. She's already out for blood.
I sent her a yellow belly double het. She's already in it.
She's out for blood already.
Think about this. She could start like a 5-bang recessive now, and actually, me and you can't live that long, right? If we started 5 recessive morphs together, we'd be dead by the time we produced it. She can start that project, and she can get there. So I have faith in her.
Yeah. The stuff that the new era of people coming, they're going to see shit that we couldn't even fathom. And it's going to be commonplace. Like, you know what I mean? Like, in 30 years from now, there's shit that's going to be made. Like, you know what I mean?
We've come so far in 20 years. Can you imagine the next 30?
It's crazy. Yeah, it's unfathomable.
I'm like, a lot of times just are opening drawers in my Python area. And even I'm opening up going like, I can't believe that the snake exists. I'm used to brown and yellow snakes from the 90s. It's like, wow, look at this thing, and we're just getting started.
KE Royal Reptiles, Kyle and Liv. They just hit 1,500 followers on Instagram. Congratulations.
Nice.
Congratulations,
That's awesome.
man. I'll give you a little hint. Reels. Do lots of reels. That's how you grow on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I need to know that. We're gonna have to chat. We're gonna have to pick your brain later.
Yeah. I've got all the secrets of
There you
growth
go.
and
We're gonna have to pick your brain over a coffee.
yeah, I'll be sleeping.
Yeah.
I'll be snoring.
Tom and Casey from Atypical Origins. They're only 32 away from 2K on Instagram.
You'll probably hit it by now.
And they have a giveaway for a sensor push.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yep. So
won?
sensor push, man. I love them. They're awesome.
Well, they're 21 away right now.
Oh, they're 21 away. So 21 people. Let's go. We got 353. Hopefully you're all following them. If not, let's get them to 2K.
At atypical _ origins.
Yep. And everybody
But
I'm. Oh, sorry.
Put one reels out, and you'll hit the 10 minutes. I'm telling you, seriously, that's how you grow.
See, there we go.
Gotta start the reels.
We gotta start the reels.
It's the real deal.
The real deal. There you go. He's coming. Oh, him and his one-liners.
Jesus.
The Zoo family hit 2K on Instagram. Congratulations. That's awesome.
Congrats.
Nice.
Congrats.
And then the man that's given us our tutorial on weed, in the chat, Empire State Exotics. He has a giveaway on December 31st for a 1,400 gram proven pastel male clown.
Nice.
I should say male pastel clown. That would make sense instead of putting pastel male clown.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit
Yeah,
opposite.
but I mean, you know what? I screw up all the time. I mean, and the funny thing is I'm reading it, and I just seem to sort of move stuff around
You have
instead of reading.
Yeah.
people thinking male is a gene.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably. So
I need-
proven
I
male
need to have the
pastel
males.
clown giveaway.
I'm going to go on a limb. He'd say that he's going to throw in, Empire's going to throw in a couple grams of weed, too.
Oh,
what I-
snap.
Yeah, you got to know if it
You
was
gotta do it
indica
now.
or sativa. So you got to sort of,
Yeah, indica. Yeah, throw me a couple grams of indica.
there you go. And then we have this little last segment, and then we will go boom.
It's time for shoutouts of the week.
Vivid Scales Soaps. Paul and Amber, they make handmade snake shed soap. They also
that's
made
cool.
some really cool stuff. You got yours. Have you used the soap yet?
I've used it.
Nice, eh?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
And
made the
they also made our coasters.
Oh, nice.
The snake
that's
shed in them.
dope.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They got our. They asked for some of our logos and our stickers, and they put them inside. And
That's cool, man.
yeah, so each of us got different colors. Of course, I love green, so I got my green one, and yeah, it worked out awesome. So huge shout out, Vivid Scales, and
Nice.
everyone that I just mentioned, you and even all of our contacts, as well as all of yours. Even though everybody already knows where you are, but just in case you just crawled out of from under a rock, everything will be in the description. All the links and proper spelling, proper wording in the description below.
Yep.
So, did you already asked them that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I snuck it in there earlier.
we have another super chat, and then I got a few questions that people have asked that I've got here to throw at
You
you.
got it, man. That's it.
So KTA Constrictors. I've battled through anxiety. Oh, Austin's here.
You can do it. You can do it. You already started it. You might
Okay,
as well.
so there's another one coming right there too. So here, I've battled through anxiety, depression, suicide attempts, and cancer. Ooh. Brian and Billy, you both helped me through chemo and the rest. Life gets better. Awesome.
There you go, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And it's interesting, just to put it in context. Number one, God bless you. And I hope that you stay healthy, both mentally and physically. But to put it in context, I know a lot of people that have dealt with anxiety and depression and cancer. And most people will say, and I don't know this person to be this is the case, but most people say they would rather deal with cancer than anxiety and depression, because at least you have a road to success. You do this. So to deal with all those things together is amazing, and you should be inspiring people to get through their struggles, because you're one strong motherfucker.
Yeah, 100%. He's Canadian also. and he wrote me an email. I've actually met him in person, which is awesome. When I was at the Red Deer show, the expo we have in Canada out in Alberta, I went out and I met him in person. But prior to that, was it prior or did he write it to me after? He wrote me a nice email, explaining everything, and it was just so heart touching, and just after reading it, like, it was just I can't even explain it. Like, a lot of these people that reach out to us and we inspire them, and some of the situations that they're in, just being able to do what I do and just being myself and interacting with everybody and just doing what we love, can actually push people, and be positive and make them, push even further. And it's incredible that we can do that. We're not even trying. It's not like they're coming to us for help and we're just being ourselves, and people can watch us and just say, wow, you know what? And it was just such an amazing letter and email, and, awesome guy.
Yeah, he's a solid dude.
Yeah. And, it's just, thanks for sharing that as well. I mean, it takes a lot to even, write that and post it. And, it's just,
just
amazing.
remember, pay that forward, man. You know what I mean? You've overcome some amazing stuff. Now it's your turn to help the next person. So don't just go through all that and keep it to yourself, man. Use that to power, to inspire others.
100%. Okay, here we go. So Melusine. So it's not Melusine or Melusine, whatever I said. Melusine? No, it's pronounced Melusine boys. I think Melusine exotic sounds better. Yeah, Melusine boys. No, I think Melusine exotics is better. I think stick with the exotics. Take the boys away. Right? Kathleen.
I'm just going to call it ew.
Oh,
cut it right
snap. Empire State Exotics. This guy's all over the place. I just hit 1,000 on YouTube. Your boy is monetized, son.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Good job, man. Those millions are going to be rolling in any minute.
There you go, man.
Oh,
atypical origins. So I guess
the ones that were close to the giveaway.
he's the guy that's close to, what is it, 1,500?
2,000.
Oh, sorry, 2,000. So he's like, how many away?
Oh, now he's only 15 away.
He's only 15 away. He says, Brian, hit that follow button, man.
I got you, man. Send me a message. I'll do it. I actually am on my phone right now, or I would do it right now. But if I do that, then I'm off.
You lose,
podcast, so
you gotta wait, Tom. Just fucking
it's up
wait.
To you guys. It's up to you guys.
Just
it's up to
fucking
you guys,
wait,
man. I'll
Tom.
do it.
Yeah, man. Shade Tree Exotics, take it away.
Hey, Brian. Hope all is well. Congratulations on the new snakes. And I love both of your guys' podcasts so much. Great info. All anyone has to do is listen.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Those snakes are amazing too. That we just got. As a matter of fact, everything but one snake ate today. We just got the shipment. It was a couple days ago. Video is out today though. Fed them this morning, and every snake ate except for one.
Awesome.
As when I left. So hopefully by tomorrow that one will leave. So super excited about that. You know that thing when you get those things, you just want that first meal. And please eat. So I was super excited about it.
Mm-hmm. Kayla from Marvel Balls. So she's from the UK. So right now it's what, 2:30 in the morning?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 2:30. She's a trooper. She's awesome. Since I keep go ahead.
Since I keep getting missed off the achievements, I hit 500 on IG 2 weeks ago. Go me, LOL.
You gotta message Callie.
But
God,
Callie.
Kayla.
Yeah, but
She should know better. They're both in my Discord. She should know better.
They should know.
Come on.
She was able to put IG as the achievement here too.
Oh, what
yeah,
the
look,
hell?
she put IG. Yeah.
Unless that's
Oh, now you're getting kicked off. You just screwed your IG account up.
Maybe
Way to go, Kayla.
it has something to do with the fact that she's commenting from a different
Country?
region.
It could be.
Maybe.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Could
I
be.
kind of just
Either
want to
that
put
or
in a
she's
super
just-
chat with IG and see if it works.
Either that or she's just showing
I'm
off.
going to do it.
Okay, we have a few
gonna
more
work.
before we get to the questions.
What's that?
It's going to work.
I hope so.
Kurt's Creatures.
My first year breeding, I lost my mom to COVID, and my reptiles have been the best therapy. Brian, did your animals help you get through your anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, first off, so sorry to
Sorry,
hear
yeah.
about your mom.
Yeah.
That's brutal. My good friend over in South Africa lost her mom a couple months ago, and then just today lost her dad. So that was it's horrible. So my prayers are with you. And yes, animals unbelievably important
It worked.
for my health. I mean, I always say my green anaconda. I've said this a million times. It was my therapy animal. There were a lot of days I was in such bad shape I could barely think, and I would sometimes just go in her cage, and she would just crawl. She's very curious. She'll crawl up to me, and as a matter of fact, the first time it'll happen. This is a big anaconda. First time anyone, and I've had a couple other people, Brian Custo, Will Nace, have been over and done it. And the first time she does it, I like put them in the cage, say, let her crawl, and they'll crawl up, like she'll crawl up to your face. The first time you think like, oh my gosh, she's gonna freaking try to kill me.
Mhm.
She's just curious. She's just a curious animal, and she just wants to, like a dog. She'll sniff you all over. She'll climb all over you. So there were a lot of days when I was really in bad shape mentally. I would just go in there and just sit with her for an hour, and it really did give me that sense of like grounding. So yeah, animals. I couldn't imagine my life without animals, and I hope that this horrible time for you losing your mom will, the animals will help you, and there's not nothing but but unbelievable amount of prayers to you.
Yeah, we have H&H Pythons. Would you follow me too, Brian? You get some.
I'd be
Yeah.
happy to.
And then, of
H&H
course,
Pythons, you got it.
Chris from the Reptile Ward behind me.
Who's that guy?
IG. So apparently it did work.
Yeah, it worked a few times. So
Yeah,
who the
so-
hell knows?
All right.
Cool.
No, I'm not following him. That's it.
Yeah. So Chris here already asked his question, so I'm going to take that off. Okay, here's one from Justin, Legacy Morphs. Which Tinley show do you guys prefer to go, if any? And if so, do you bring snakes on display? Want to go my very first one this year.
October.
That's what I've heard
October's a
too.
big one, and I'll be honest with you. I think there's very little chance there'll be a March 10th league. I think there's a very
Yeah.
chance.
Well,
I
one
think that
reason-
if I were gonna- yeah.
One reason I suggest Tinley in October is because everyone has the good stuff hatched and the
Yep.
stuff that, look what I made.
Yeah.
Look, it's not for sale. You get to see the stuff, and, whether you're buying awesome babies and there's more, available, or just seeing stuff that is possible to make, or, getting the ingredients to make that, or seeing what we can do is just, I love seeing stuff. It's like, oh my God, look at that thing. It's like go to Straight Fighter's table. You're like, what the fuck?
Oh my God.
It's just like, man, it's just crazy, but it motivates you, man.
Yeah. Well, not to mention, October's always been the big one. It's about twice the size of March. But also, you can only imagine what this October is going to be like. When people can finally travel. We're going to be, hopefully, we'll all be able to travel and get out. It's going to be a freaking rockets party in Tinley. So, and that's one I will be at 100%. I will be at that Tinley.
Here is an awesome question for you, my man. This is from my I can say I was gonna say my good friend, but yeah, he's my buddy. He's my good friend, Mike from Magnitude Morphs. Okay, he wants to know if you have a good story from back in the day when you where most ball pythons were being imported from Africa. So it could be good story, crazy story,
Well,
something.
that kind of bleeds to like my question.
Yeah,
too.
from
'Cause, like last podcast, I was basically curious to see why some of them were so expensive at the beginning. Was it like
Well, I mean, it was again, and I do have a story I'll tell you real quick, but it's just like anything, right? When something first starts, the demand, once the demand really starts to explode, there's such an enormous amount of people that are in line to buy the next project that the price is just inflated. And I was around when prices were dirt cheap. The first cinnamon pastel or cine ball python that I bought was $200 out of Africa. And then 2 years later, they were $15,000.
crazy.
So we went from seeing things dirt cheap, like $50, $75 to $20,000, the same exact animal, But I'll tell you a really quick story about the pinstripe ball python. When I bought my first pinstripe ball python, this was before the internet, so you couldn't get pictures. of what they were. We got a phone call. I had a guy that was on the ground at the time that I used to pay 10% of everything. So if I bought an animal for 20 grand, he got a $2,000 bonus, is essentially what it was. You know, that was the deal. I flew him over there. I paid all his expenses. He was on the ground, and I would give him. So every year he would make about $20,000 or $25,000 off me to go to Africa, because I would spend about $250,000 in Africa each year. And so, anyways, we get a call. He was in Accra, Ghana, and we get a call from a place called Cotonou, Benin, from the big exporter in Benin, which Benin had the highest quota, but was also the worst country as far as like third world, right? Like Accra, Ghana, still West Africa is not exactly the best place in the world, but Accra was as close to nice as you could get. And then you had, Lome, Togo, with a guy named Eric Bouchard, which is the main guy, and then in the largest quota, and the biggest guy was a guy named Patrick. Okay, and he was in a place called Cotonou, Benin, which is right outside of Abomey. And so we get a call and say, hey, we have this really expensive, this really interesting snake. This is way back, early on, 97, something like that. And he says he wants $27,000 for this snake. And this is already when the prices were going up exponentially. And so now it's an 8-hour drive from Accra to Cotonou. And we used to, you had to bring cash, cash money. And so he also said that he had 4 albinos, but he said these albinos were purplish. But you got to remember, everything is like different. Everything is beautiful. This is like nothing I've ever seen before. This is amazing. This salesman. Is not normal. So I ended up sending my guy with security, because we used to hire security to travel with when you had $40,000 cash on you, or in this case CAFA. CAFA was like, $40,000 worth of CAFA was literally like a garbage bag full of cash, and these guys would only accept cash. So certainly we were traveling with a lot of cash across a very, very dangerous part of the world. And so he gets over to Cotonou, and I don't hear from him for like a day and a half. Like he disappears for like a day and a half. Finally, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a phone call. This isn't a cell phone. This is my wall phone, on my wall. And I answer the phone, and he's in this, he's on a pay phone, and he's all the way back in Abomey, because there's no phones in Cotonou. And so he's back in Abomey, which is about a 40-minute drive out. He's like, Brian, what's going on? And he's, again, you're talking to someone in West Africa in the mid to late 90s. The connection's not very good. It's, whatever. And I'm like, where have you been? I was worried about him being killed and all kinds of stuff. He's like, oh, and he's telling me all this story. So anyways, he says, I go, so what's the deal? Of course, it wasn't called a pinstripe. As a matter of fact, it wasn't called a pinstripe until about a year and a half later, when Stephen Broghammer actually published the picture of the pinstripe in his book and called it a pinstripe. We didn't even have it called a pinstripe. We had it marked on the cage, reduced pattern ball python. And Stefan published the picture and called it a pinstripe, and then it became a pinstripe. So anyways, this guy says, that this is the snake is really different. I've never seen anything like it. And he goes, but I don't know what to do. I go, is it worth $27,000? And he says, I don't know. I'm not sure. And so I told him, I go, listen, if you had $27,000, would you buy it? He said, yes. I said, then buy the snake. I go, what's going on with the albinos? And at the time, albinos were going for about $7,000 here for babies, right? So typically you were paying about half so an albino would be like $3,500, right? And so he wanted $14,000 for the 4 albino babies, but they were, again, purplish, right? And I was like, offer him 10 grand for the 4 albino. And he comes back to me and he says, no, he will not take 14,000 the less he will take for the albinos. No. I said, I don't want him then. Just walk away. I don't even want the albinos. Take the what is now the pinstripe. And we bought a couple of animals, came back. Anyways, we ended up, people used to steal shipments all the time, right? Like it was really common for them to steal shipments. So I was like, listen, dude, you need to sit with that shipment at the airport until you see it loaded on the plane. And this was in a place called Aflao it was flying out of, and which is about an hour and a half drive from Accra. And so he sits with it. He tells me, okay, it's on the flight. We're good to go. Like 2 hours later, I get a phone call from the airport saying they took the shipment off because it got bumped till tomorrow. I literally call my guy up and go, get in the car, head to the airport right now. Make sure that shipment is there. Make sure someone isn't stealing my shipment. Blah, blah, blah. He goes, sure enough, the shipment is there. The next day it goes out. I've never seen this animal. It gets to me, a day and a half later. I crack the boxes open. And again, we had a ton of really cool snakes in that shipment. And finally got to the pinstripe. And that was the first time I ever saw the pinstripe. So thankfully the shipment got there. It turned out, we didn't know if it was a male or female. It turned out to be a male. It ultimately turned out to be incomplete dominant or whatever. And but interestingly enough, Tracy from VPI ended up with those albinos, and those were the first lavender albino ball pythons ever.
Yep.
So I passed up the opportunity to buy the first ever lavender albinos because I thought that they were just normal albinos. So even when he was saying they were purple,
they're purple. We had nothing to relate that. We couldn't think of a yellow and purple snake. We didn't even know that color existed.
Yeah, I just thought it was a variant of albino, and I didn't think much of it. So, unfortunately, good news, I got the pinstripe. Bad news, I missed out on the lavender albinos. And what was interesting about this is what was interesting is that I remember talking to Patrice. He caught two albinos, two lavender. They turned out to be lavender albinos. Caught two of them in the same area. Both were gravid. Both laid eggs. And I remember talking to him. This was a couple months before, and him telling me, and they always call you, it's like, Master, I will be hatching some albinos. And I'm like, no, dude, you had albinos lay eggs. You're not hatching albinos. You know what I mean? It's a recessive mutation. This wasn't albino to albino. This was the albino wild caught. And I kid you not, the one animal laid 8. They both laid 8 eggs. There were 16 eggs. The one animal, 8 babies hatched, all normal, right? Heterozygous for lavender albino. The other one, believe it or not, 4 lavenders were born from a wild caught female.
That's crazy.
So she had to have bred a het male. I mean, how crazy is that? That's where the lavender albinos came. That's where the lavender albinos came from.
Wow.
That's awesome. No, that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's an awesome question, Mike. That's cool. Sick.
Yeah. Imagine like a dreamsicle just like in the wild.
Yeah, wouldn't that be
Oh
nuts?
my gosh, can you imagine? Yeah, there was some crazy stuff that used to pop up over there. Trust me.
Yeah.
Here's another question, sort of related. Black Candy Royals. Do you think we are at the peak of our wild-caught genes that can be discovered? And are there no more big changers to the morph from the wild? You think that era's done now with all the...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been done for a long time, to be honest with you. I mean, there hasn't been anything significant that's come out of West Africa. And I mean, I can't think of the last significant animal that came out of West Africa. I mean, where did the monsoon end? Was that an import or was that a just pop up?
That popped out Dave Green
Dave Green.
in 2013. And that all came from Tom Baker's stock. Rest in peace.
Oh, Tom Baker. Oh my gosh! Wow.
So he bought 2 hatchlings in 2010, and I mean I don't know if you know this, but here's how I got my monsoon stuff. So in 2010, Dave Green bought a male and a female. I believe it was special het pied. A special and a Mojave or a super Mojave, and he bred them down the road. In 2013 and hit the monsoon. Now, the same year, 2010, I bought the world's first pastel crystal, which Tom made in 2007. So if you look through the book and see pastel crystal, Tom Baker, that's the male that I bought. So I bought him as a proven breeder in 2010. And I bred them year after year after year and kept making all this crazy stuff, but I never ever put anything back together except I was making crystals. And in 2016, I took like a 3-gene special and I bred it to another 3-gene special. And I got a whole bunch of super specials. I know what a super special looks like and a pastel super special, but I also had pinstripe and spot nose and pastel. And all these babies kept getting whiter and whiter. So thank God they were females. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what they are, but I'll never do this pairing again. Who the fuck wants a white snake that I can't tell what's in it? So I just threw them in. And then down the road, I started breeding some special stuff. And, a few people were saying, man, your specials look crazy. And then Brad from, is it Prodigious?
Yep.
Prodigious Pythons. He's like, dude, I think you have Monsoon. I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, fuck, I see markers and stuff, and it looks like the stuff that Dave has. And he's like, did you ever do this pairing? And I'm like, well, how the hell do I got Monsoon? He goes, well, Dave got these 2 hatchlings in 2010. You brought a proven breeder, male, from 2007 and 2010. And that's why I think your specials look so crazy because, and I'm like, what are the odds? And sure enough, I'm like, yeah, actually, in 2016, I made a bunch of super specials. And I'm like, here they are. And he runs across the street and grabs a black light, shines it on, and I'm fucking seeing Monsoon. I'm like, what the hell?
Wow.
Yeah, and then we finally hit it. So basically, in 2013, and then when he did it again in 14, I guess he was talking to Tom. He was still alive, and Tom was trying to make it with all his stock and could never reproduce. And anybody else, even to this day, has never been able to reproduce a Monsoon. That's probably because I have the world's first Het Monsoon male that is the father of Tom Green's animals. Makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, makes
and now,
sense.
years now, knowing, and I always say, it's not what you have in your collection, it's what you do with it. I never, ever thought. So in 2013, if I ever put my Monsoon male or my Het Monsoon pastel crystal back to any of those females, I would have probably hit it first. And year after year. But I didn't want to make any more because here in Canada, especially early 2010, 11, 12, we didn't have a strong market. And when I was hitting crystals, I was selling crystals for $4,500 and pastel crystals for $6,500. And all the key players bought them. And then the next year they came down in price and I sold a few, and then it sort of just nobody wanted, that.
Yes, you're like, why make more? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I just stopped. But now I have an army because thank God I kept using that gene, and I have 3, 4, 5 gene double hets, triple. Like it's crazy what's gonna come. But what a crazy coincidence.
I didn't even realize that came from Tom. That's wild. But yeah, so my point was that I think that the last real significant morph that came out was probably like the champagne. I don't know that there's been anything significant after that out of West Africa. There's been little odds and ends, but and over in South Africa they have some stuff that's come out that I don't know if they'll ever turn out to be anything. There's those little tiny genes that you look and go like, maybe it's something, maybe it's not, and maybe if they put it in the right combination, it's going to turn out to be something really amazing. But yeah, I think West Africa's done. I think there's nothing really left there, and that's not to say there might not be in the future, but I don't see much coming out now. When we get into other species, I think there's certainly there was the leucistic Nile monitor a couple years ago. Obviously, we have the albino Nile monitor and the black Nile monitors, and I think there's potential for other species. But as far as ball pythons, I don't see a lot of stock left in Africa. We've done so much with it already.
Yep. Capo pythons, Callie Neal and Catherine Walker. Brian, will you be producing more Super Lorry ball pythons to sell in the near future?
Yeah, I think so. When exactly, I don't know. Listen, I slept on that project like you can't believe, man. I effed the dog on that project like you can't believe. And now we're producing some stuff that is really spectacular. Really spectacular. So I'm putting a lot of energy. That's probably the only investment quality. Again, I've got a lot of clown stuff. I've got a lot of cool stuff. All kinds of different things, but like that's the only project that I look at as maybe like could make some money down the road, like significant, because I think people, the only problem was that Lorry's got cheap because I didn't do anything with them, and now I think people have started to realize like, wow, there might be something to this, and because we're producing some pretty cool stuff. So yes, you're going to see some bangers in the next 2 or 3 years. I think this year we'll have some pretty cool stuff. But 2 or 3 years from now, when we start combining some of the genes that we have on the shelf raising up, I think you're going to see. It's in the same complex as Heteroides Xanthic, but different. It's kind of like analogous to say a Mojave to a lesser, right? Similar. They both do similar things, but a lesser is obviously much different than a Mojave. And that's basically what it is. The het red axanthic is much different than a lori, but still in the same complex. But the het reds don't make those blue and white snakes. You know.
Hogtown Balls, fellow Canadian, Paul. He says, "Hi, Brian. It was great to meet you at the last CRBE, which will be 2019. Damn it.
Yep.
Happy New Year to you and Billy and the gang. Thumbs up, snake emoji."
Hey,
no,
thanks,
that's
Mark.
a
I
duck.
appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again.
Oh, no, it's a snake. It looks like a duck.
That is
doesn't
a
it?
duck,
But it says snake.
but it looks like a duck.
It does look like a duck.
It is a duck.
It is a duck.
What the hell?
So we got a thumbs up emoji, and then if I highlight it, if I put my cursor on top of the duck, it says snake.
But it's showing a duck.
YouTube,
weird.
you fucked up.
Yeah, that's weird, right?
Oh, no,
it
it
looks like a
actually-
duck and it acts like a duck.
It
No,
is.
Gotta be a
that's a
duck.
snake.
It's a snake. It's a
I
snake.
zoomed in just to see.
Oh, does it? It looks like a duck.
Yeah, from afar it looks like a duck.
Look at that. That's okay. I take that back, YouTube. Let's see. There's a few more super chats. I got a couple more questions. And, yeah. You got another half hour in you, my man?
Sure, man, absolutely.
You're a fucking champ, just like me.
Unless my battery runs out, I think I'm okay. But if I die, then it's my phone. I can't tell what my battery life.
No
is
worries,
here,
man.
But,
But
I think we're gonna be all right. I think we're gonna be all right.
Martin Exotics, take it away.
It's my birthday today, guys. Just got off work for this.
Happy birthday, Martin Exotics.
Birthday, Martin.
Nice.
Happy
Hope you have a good
effing
one, brother.
birthday.
Enjoy yourself, man.
Atypical.
Origins.
What is he saying?
Does Brian have any snake art from Anna at AK Morphs?
Can you say that again? Because my dog was barking.
He said, go ahead.
Okay. Does Brian...
Go ahead.
This guy. Does Brian have any...
I'm taking his mic away.
I know, right?
Does Brian have any snake... Oh, now the
there-
actual
not the real
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Go ahead.
Is it safe?
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. I don't know.
Does Brian have any snake art from Anna at AK Morphs?
I don't.
You got to check out Anna. So,
yeah.
so she makes. When I first saw her, and I'm gonna toot my own horn here, but all these people were posting these like like snake shaped pieces of art, like cut out of wood, and she does this. I guess it's an epoxy resin.
Okay.
Yeah, but the way the colors come, and it's just awesome. So I reached out and I'm like, oh, I definitely want one. I got it. And then I loved it so much. I'm like, hey, you know what? Do you ever, can you do anything else? Like, can you do a logo or anything? And she's like, I've never done anything. I've just done these cut out snakes. And I'm like, here, you know what? I want the MC. Can you do my MC? So I sent her a pic. She took it and did it. I told her the color. I want it to be like pied white and, have, the resin colors of my logo. And she did it. And I love it. It's a feature piece when you walk in the facility. I love it. And so I was the first custom piece she's ever done. And now
nice.
everyone's done it. And she's making amazing shit. And some people's logos it's sick.
Yeah.
It's just sick. So you got to get like Snake Bites or BHB. 8K Morphs on Instagram. You got to just check her out. She's awesome.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Yeah, definitely. I was slept on that one, so I apologize.
But really cool stuff,
Just
man.
get a pickle.
Got
What
pickle.
the hell?
Oh my God.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
I'll never be able to look at that snake again.
Yeah.
No.
But huge shout out to Anna from AK Morphs.
Absolutely, Anna. I'll definitely check you out, man.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Yeah. Don't order a pickle. Okay, here's one here. You probably have experience with this. Just One More Exotics, LLC. How do you guys go about getting eggs out of an egg-bound female? Say pushing them out isn't working. Aspiration?
It's really tough. So, obviously, it's called denocia. When a snake is denocia, it's you got to understand there's a number of things that could be going on. She could just be wore out. The egg is too big. She's just out of energy to get out. That's when, what they would call massage aspiration works, right? Where you can massage that snake egg out. through a probe with the vent, opening it up and helping it get down. Now, that's only if it's close to the anal vent. If it's, halfway up the snake body, you can't push it, because if you push it, that oviduct is actually pliable. And if you push, it's just going to fold the oviduct, right? Or you're going to rip the oviduct by pressuring that egg, right? So a lot of times the first thing I'm going to do, especially if a snake, if an egg is close to the vent, I'm going to try to aspirate and go in there with the probe and see if I can feel the egg with the probe. And if I can feel the egg with the probe, it's going to feel a little chalky. Then I know I can actually aspirate by going round and round the egg oviduct, where I'm not crinkling the oviduct and pushing the egg out. If the animal has an egg further up, I'm going to give her at least a few days to see if she's going to push it down on her own.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't push it down on her own, a couple things is going on. There could be a fold in the oviduct, there could be a twist in the oviduct, or she could have ruptured the oviduct and it's in the body cavity. If it's in that body cavity, she's never pushing that egg out. Yeah. The only thing you do is surgery. That's the only thing you can do, which is not that hard of a surgery, but a lot of times, unfortunately, you are spading that animal forever. It won't breed, but there's no real rush to it unless there's a rupture that's going to cause septicemia. Leaving that egg in there for a week or two isn't going to be a problem. Let it see if it can push it down itself. If it does, then you can get your egg out. If it's stuck up there, it's not moving, surgery is the only option, and then you just gotta hope that you can save the animal for future breeding. If not, she may lose her ovaries or oviduct, and you may just have a pet snake.
Awesome. Yeah, we've been lucky. Actually, 2 years ago, I lost a clown pied female, first-year breeder. She had 7 eggs. She was bred to the lavender clown het pied.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so clown pied, 100% het lavs.
Yeah.
And, pied double hets, clown double het. Oh. But, yeah.
I will say this. Ball pythons, colubrids are very, Denosha is very common in colubrids. I'd say maybe one out of every, 60 to 80 clutches of colubrids, you're going to have a female go Denosha. Now, most of them will pass. Most of them pass, whether through aspiration or on their own. Ball pythons are rare. I mean, I've produced a lot of clutches of ball pythons in my life, and I think I've had 5 females ever get Denosha. So it's pretty rare.
I haven't had it for the first. I find a lot of things now. So back in the day, first 12, 13 years of me doing this, I never had twins. I never had egg-bound females. I was like, what the hell? And then now in the last 5, 6 years, I'm hitting like 5, 6 sets of twins every year. I'm hitting like, what the fuck? I'm getting like egg-bound females. Like, what the fuck? Like, why now, man? Like, but, it's strange how things are starting to come. So, no idea.
But yeah, some you probably won't worry about that much if you're just starting breeding ball pythons, Probably something you don't have to worry about. Don't lose any sleep over it. Let's just put it that way.
I mean, I'm breeding 200-300 females a year, and one female, sometimes 2, will be egg bound.
Yeah.
It's minimal,
Yeah. And I will say that this is the way you can reduce because what happens with some egg binding is that you catch so some females go into a trance, and you could do anything you want with them, and they're just laying eggs. Other females, when you open that drawer too often, they get stressed out and they'll stop laying eggs.
Yeah.
Because they're stressed. You're like, you startled them, and they don't want to lay eggs. So my advice to everybody is that when your female's going to lay eggs or has started laying eggs, just leave her alone. And you'll have a lot less egg binding if you just leave them alone and let them do their thing. Wait 10 hours, go back, and there's your clutch of eggs. Messing with a female often is going to cause more egg binding.
Yeah, that's what we even say too. Is like, after they ovulate and that stuff, there's no sense. You go in, check the water, make sure he has enough. But don't go in and clean that little urate. Oh.
Yeah, right.
There's no sense cleaning that little urate that she left to probably scent the cage or her. Just leave it the fuck alone. Leave her, let her be. You check to see if she has eggs. But if you're doing that like so often and changing and cleaning the enclosure, that can stress them out also. Leave them alone. Let them do their thing.
At that point, they're not really soiling their cage, because they haven't eaten in a month and a half. And,
Right.
yeah, just the less you mess with a gravid snake and one that's 2 legs in particular, the better. I mean, I even just like open the cage. Like, I don't even open the cage when they're ready to lay eggs. I just like peek in there, like with my eye, like open it like 2 inches, peek in there and shut the cage. That's what I do.
Everyone's
going
to start getting one of those little spy cameras and, with the little,
I was gonna
that little
say,
thing, just stick it in, try to,
Ironically enough, I just bought one of those.
No shit. Mission
we
Impossible style.
Yeah, yeah. We had a leak in our alligator tank, so we drilled a hole to see if we could find it through that way. You know what I mean? And
Wow.
so yeah, now I've got a new use for it.
There you
Checking
go.
eggs.
Sick. There we go. Look at that.
We're gonna market that shit, man.
There you
You
go.
have to buy the domain.
Yeah, exactly. Let's buy the domain. What is that going to be called? Eggscope.com or something like that?
Yeah. Hey, you got to buy it. Someone's actually going to probably do it now.
Yeah.
By the time we're off this podcast, someone will have bought eggscope.com.
Yep.
Guarantee it.
Yep. Nick White says, how is the Boolean python doing, and how different is their behavior and eating response compared to the likes of a Burmese and retic?
They're like a different planet animal. I mean, number one, it's doing really well. Getting really big. When I got it, it was still kind of that rust color, baby color, maybe 3 foot. Now it's probably 5 foot, eating small, large rats already. It was eating like rat fuzzies when I got it. So they grow really quick. Feed response is I just leave a frozen thawed rodent in its cage. It doesn't take it off of tongs or anything like that. But I'll leave a frozen rodent, like small, large rat, like a large rat, but a smaller size one. And within 10 minutes, it's gone. But they are a very, very, very shy, skittish snake. They do not like to be handled. They're one of the more unusual snakes I've ever worked with, to be honest with you. They remind you of a retic. They remind you of a carpet python, but they're nothing like a carpet python or a retic. And I'm a little concerned because I bought it because I wanted to put it on display at the Reptarium, and I'm just not sure that animal is going to be able to be on display at the Reptarium. I'll wait another 6 or 8 months and get it, a good, like that big, and then maybe it'll get a little more brazen. But right now, I would feel. I think that if I put it over there, it would stress out within 2 weeks and be dead. That's how wild that animal is. But we'll see. Beautiful animal. So happy I have it. But right now it's just at BHB, just hanging out.
Have you ever considered using like one-way like glass film for any animals that you think might have an issue sort of seeing a lot of people over the course of a day or days?
I've thought about it. The problem is that the one thing you don't want is it to be reflective on the way back. So most of the film that you do that is like one-way mirror type film, and they'll stress out with seeing themselves as a reflection.
Fair
now
enough.
You could probably get some sort of a vinyl thing where it's like maybe white on the inside or something on that line. But I'm not sure that it would be. I'm not sure. I think that might be the only animal that I have right now that seems to be stressed about that type of situation. So I don't know. We'll just play it by ear. I hope I can one day display it, but I had visions, and these are just all learning experiences. I had visions of okay, it'll be the only place you can go and handle a Boland's python, and that's never going to happen.
Yeah,
that snake doesn't come out.
I totally understand that, because literally me and my business partner Nick, probably our dream in this hobby is to one day have one. Not for any particular reason, just we both really, really want one. So.
OnlyFans.
That's a lion, God. So I could imagine actually getting your hands on one, and then the actual reason for wanting it being like, be bittersweet.
Yeah, but I think it's still worth having. It just doesn't fulfill what I wanted with it to be able to show it off. But I get to enjoy it, which is cool. I wanted other people to be able to see it and enjoy it. But then again, we might be able to set up, like when it gets a little bigger, we might be able to set up like a really heavily foliage cage that has plenty of place to feel comfortable and just not take it out, so people can see it, because it's a beautiful snake. Now that it's gotten black, and it's got its adult colors in, and that those heads are so big and interesting compared to any other snake. Very, very, but I will say very different snake than any snake I've ever dealt with.
That's so cool. I'm so jealous.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Okay,
I love 'em.
here's one. Chris Killian says, "What is your protocol for treating an RI, and steps that can be taken to not get them in the first place?" So,
Well, so first off, most RIs, not all RIs, but with ball pythons, I'm going to be specific with ball pythons. Most RIs are secondary infection, and most of them come from nidovirus. So that's the first thing you've got to realize. So there's two things to do: is any snake you get in quarantine, don't let it around your other animals. Number two, make sure your collection does not have snake mites. Okay, so if your collection has snake mites and you get a nidovirus animal that has a respiratory, you're done. Your collection's going to be in big trouble. You're going to lose a lot of animals. So you want to, number one, eradicate any possibility for mites. Number two, quarantine any animal coming in. If you can, now that's relatively cheap to get a nidovirus test. It's like $75. You're going to bring in a $3,000 snake, spend the $75 and get a nido test, just to rest assured that you don't have that issue. Now, there are rare occasions that ball pythons will get respiratory infections due to dryness, cold, all kinds of other issues that isn't related to nido. But I would say probably 90% of RI infections are nido-based. So quarantine, make sure there's no parasites as far as mites that are going to transfer. Because you got to remember, nido actually transfers not through the air, but through blood and saliva.
saliva, fecal.
Yeah, fecal. So if you breed a snake with nido, your female's going to have nido, guaranteed. You're not getting around that. If you have mites, you're going to spread nido like crazy. So those were the things that happened when we had nido in our collection. Is we made sure we eradicate all mites. We made sure we quarantine. And ultimately that was the way we got it out of our thing, through quarantine and testing and making sure that we had the animals that did test positive completely separate from the other collection. And slowly, the thing that's interesting is that you can breed nido females and males, and most of them, they'll eventually die, but because there's no cure for it. But the babies don't have nido, so they don't pass it on to babies. So that's the one nice thing about it. So you can still, I didn't euthanize the animals because I just am a sucker for animals, and I have a hard time euthanizing them. But eventually, every animal that had nido eventually died in my collection. So RIs are a major issue. And again, if it's just an RI without nido, I haven't had a respiratory in years now in my collection. So from that standpoint, so I don't treat at all because I don't have to treat. When I had nido, I used to try to treat with things, but it was just going to knock it down for a minute. It's going to always come back. So just be very careful who you buy from, and always quarantine and make sure you do not have mites. And one of the things we do now at BHB is literally every snake we bring in, if we're buying it from somewhere else, we treat it like it has mites, even if it doesn't have mites.
Yeah, same here.
Doesn't matter.
So do I.
We put it in quarantine, and we'll quarantine in an area for at least 90 days. And once a week, we treat for mites for that 90-day period. Even if it's from the most reputable breeder in the world, I don't care. I'm going to treat every 7 days for mites for 90 days.
Awesome stuff. Here's one. I've never had this, so I can't really tell the difference. But pros and cons: walk-in versus enclosed incubators. Have you ever had a walk-in?
Wait, he has one now.
That's what I have a walk-in now. And
the one that he used to go in when he cut the what do you call it? The scaleless.
The scaleless clutch. Yeah.
He's inside. Yeah.
Oh, he has one now too, though.
I don't know the new place.
Oh.
But I would listen. I think that even you guys would be, once you went to a walk-in, you would never go to anything else, because walk-ins are so much easier to control than individual incubators. I mean, like, ridiculously more easy. Because I built 100 incubators in my time, and they're, number one, when something does go wrong, it goes wrong rapidly, right? When it drops in temperatures, drops rapidly. When it overheats rapidly. You get a 10 by 10 room, it's going to take 8 hours for that to change even a degree or two. If you got too much heat, it's going to take forever to increase. If the heat goes off, it's going to take forever to calm down. I mean, my 10 by 10 room, literally from floor to ceiling, front to back, 1/2 of a degree temperature difference. Because what it is cement floors that once I turn my incubator on at least 2.5 months before I'm going to get eggs. so the cement floor becomes 89 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I have 2x6 construction with 2x6 insulation, and then drywall, and then 2-inch foam floor and ceiling. So I literally have 8 inches of insulation floor to ceiling.
That's what she said.
Yeah, but yeah, I walked into that one. It's so insulated, and then I just have a ceiling fan that just barely moves, just to circulate air, just barely moves. Mike Wilbanks actually uses a circulating fan that's made for hydroponic weed growing.
Yeah, I saw his. He has the two rooms. Looks cool.
Yeah, I think he just added a third room actually when I was down there. But I just have a ceiling fan like that, and I have an oil-filled heater that's on a dual thermostat. So I have second redundancy. If one goes wrong, the other one picks up, and it literally stays within a half a degree period. And you don't have to worry about fans drying eggs out because there's hardly any air movement in there, and the whole room really gets it. So I'm telling you what, if you ever went to a walk-in, you would never go back to anything else. Trust me.
Jeez.
Cool.
Oh no, you just gave Billy some ideas.
Yeah. Think about it. I mean, you will love it.
And then second part of the question, for enclosed incubators, store-bought versus homemade.
I mean, I don't know.
Depends on how
I don't know
handy you are.
Yeah. That's one thing. And how many clutches? If you're going to have 3 clutches, there's probably some, bought incubators that work. But if you're going to have 100 clutches, I don't think you can buy those, right? I mean, who built a 100-egg clutch incubator, and you don't want to buy 20 incubators. So I think, being handy is, I never bought an incubator in my life. I've always built everyone I've had.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let's see who else we have here. This is from Mark Genshorik. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. Brian, do you have a favorite ball python clutch or a favorite combo you've hit over the years? Obviously, there's been too many to name, but is there one that really just sticks out?
I still think maybe if I really was pressed to say like my most insane clutch that I've had, or just from an emotional standpoint, I would say the first piebald ball python I ever produced. You got to remember, Pete Hall had produced the first pies the year before, so I had heterozygous before Pete proved them out to be genetic, and so my hets, which we didn't even know were hets, they were possible hets because no one knew they were genetic, went from being, I bought it from a guy named Ernie Wagner for $2,500 for the pair. The next year, Pete proved out the pies to be genetic. They went for $25,000 a pair for hets. And then I had 4 eggs from my female, 18 months old, laid 4 eggs, cut the eggs. So I've been cutting eggs. I was cutting Burmese python eggs before I ever produced a ball python, right? So I've been cutting eggs for a long, long time. And so regardless, I had 4 eggs. First egg, normal. Second egg, normal. Third egg, normal. Fourth egg, pied. And that's probably the most excited. I was like 20 years old at the time, and to have a snake that was worth $25,000 was life changing. So and I've always loved pies. I think pies are still one of my favorite morphs ever. So yeah, that was probably from an emotional standpoint. I would say the second one would probably be the scaleless ball python. It turned out, I mean, it was an amazing experience. It turned out to be not a good thing in the sense that, I don't produce scaleless anymore, nor will I produce scaleless in the future because they're not a very strong animal. But at the time, we didn't know that because I'd been working with scaleless Texas rats, scaleless corn snakes, and they were perfect. I mean, they're great animals. We didn't know that the ball python was going to be a kind of inferior, genetic animal.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Imagine back in the day. Like, that's sick.
I mean, it's sort of like that right now, right? Like, people are hatching out some crazy stuff, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't think it ever ends.
It's going to be amazing.
It never ends, man. Listen, every egg you cut, even if it's a normal, is a blessing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, most of the normals that come out now are triple and quadruple heads.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
that's
at least those
true.
are,
Yeah,
they're my normals.
Yeah.
yeah.
Here you go, Austin. One more. Kyle Abram.
So glad to see you two together. Need more of it.
Yay.
Yay, yeah, we're gonna have babies next month.
Oh, jeez.
Just kidding.
Wait. I was like, what did I miss?
You missed the pickle.
Oh,
You missed
no.
the thing.
No.
Christmas
We're in
pickle.
quarantine. We can't even see each other, for God's sakes. Come on now.
Oh, no.
Sent the
Yeah, all I know is I, quarantine, COVID, let's get it out of the system. But by, June, July, fuck out of here. Let's start traveling. Let's start doing it. October Tinley, September CRBE. We're going to, hopefully, we know this. I'll have a contest. It might have to be like, country related before it was all over the world because, that country can't come here. It's going to be really weird.
Yeah. By September, a lot of countries are still not going to be in good shape, unfortunately, which is sad.
Yeah.
But that's the truth. But just imagine the party when this thing is finally over.
Oh my God, it's going to be sick.
I mean, people are going to be going nuts. I mean, the most simple. I mean, can you imagine going to a hockey game or going to a freaking concert? I mean, it's going to feel like the first time you ever been. So
Pretty much.
It's going to be a party. It's going to be a party, man. I'm as much as this sucks. I'm really looking forward to people appreciating life to the fullest when it's over.
I've never been so excited to spend $15 on a beer.
Really?
Yeah, right. Yeah. When you're gonna be like, please take my $15.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, listen, man. I'll be there, right there with you. I don't drink, but I'll buy a beer just to spend the $15 with you.
Even like movies or anything.
Yeah.
Movie theaters.
Oh, I know, man. It's been brutal, dude. Yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. And Michigan's pretty strict. So some of my friends in Florida and some other states, Texas and Georgia and Wisconsin. I mean, those guys are just living life like it's nothing, man. They're just like, yeah, no, we're just bad. What are you guys all crazy about? We're just having a good time with our life. I'm like, oh my God, I can hardly go to the freaking grocery store,
Yeah.
That's awesome. We have, let's see, we can do this one here. Chris Darley, what advice would you give to anyone starting in the hobby now after gaining all the knowledge you have from your good and bad experiences?
My advice would literally be, understand that your time is probably more valuable than you're thinking. And what I mean by that is that, pick your projects well and make sure that you're not spreading yourself too thin, because when you spread yourself too thin, let's say, so I often say breeding reptiles doesn't always scale. And I always say, excuse the pun, right? So like if you produce, let's say 10 clutches of ball pythons and you make 10 grand on those 10 clutches of ball pythons. If you produce 100 clutches of ball pythons, you're not going to make 100 grand, right? And that's one of the things that sometimes people have a problem understanding is that, they think it's like, all right, if I do 10, I can do 10 times that, and I'm going to make 10 times the money. What ends up happening is that you do 10 times the work and you make twice the money, So I think the mistake I made and I would never make again is going too big. I mean, at one point, I think at our peak, we had 1,800 female ball pythons, adults. Geez. And
Jeez.
And that was a massive. And I can tell you, I make more money now producing. Last year, I produced 183 clutches. I did better at 183 clutches than I did when I had 1,800 females. Now I produced more clutches when I had 1,800 females. I think my biggest year was about 960 clutches, if I'm not mistaken. So, but the problem is that my overhead and expenses and everything else, and even when you're talking about say 900 and whatever clutches that you have, I was still at about 50% production, whereas now I run at about 90 to 92% production. So less is sometimes more. Pick your projects, and then lastly, don't be in a hurry. This isn't a race, man. This hobby's going to be around for a long time. Work with what you love. Take your time. Don't feel like if you don't get that newest, coolest animal this year, you're going to lose out, because next year you'll get that animal. And just take your time. Don't chase anything. Let it come to you. And then lastly, just fucking enjoy it, man. You know what I mean? If you don't get enjoyment opening that cage, you're not going to be successful. So just, pick the animals that you're going to love to watch and look at every single day, because if you do that, you're going to be successful.
Yeah, and you won't be, you won't be around long if you don't get that. I mean, there's got to be so much other things that pull you in and keep you in and keep driving you. There's a lot of animals that I make for a project that I'm trying to hit in 5 to 7 years from now, if I'm lucky with the odds. So, you got to enjoy opening those animals and people that just do it strictly for money. Yeah, I'm sure you can do well and you might enjoy it, but, doing what we do and growing, and like you said, the amount of work and the money that you got to put in and the time, if you don't love what you're doing and love looking at those animals, you won't see it as something that you want to do. You got to have that nice combination of each.
Yeah, there's always that saying, right? Do what you love and the money will come. Don't do the money and then the love will come.
Yeah,
do it the right way. But the money is always there if you love it and you work hard at it. But that's always the secondary part of what we do.
Yeah. Got a few more super chats here. Bergman Reptile Room, again. Awesome.
Hope you all had a great holidays. Have a safe and happy new year.
Right back at you.
Yeah, you too. Yeah, absolutely. You too.
Scales from the Crypt.
Brian, visit NARBC in Arlington, Texas in February.
No one's going anywhere in February. Sorry to break the news.
Yeah. That's just, even if it goes off, which it probably will because Texas is open, I won't. I can't. Listen. I'm not like terrified of anything per se, but I just couldn't possibly feel comfortable walking into a room with 1,000 people right now. I don't care if you have a mask or not. I'm not at that point. It's I'll I don't want it to not go off because I'm good friends with Bob and Brian, and I love them, and I hope that everyone there has a great time and everyone's safe. But my opinion, if you really want the truth, is I don't think it's very responsible to be at a big reptile show right now. I think right now we have to be smarter. If we want this thing to be over sooner, we probably sacrifice a little more now. And I think going into a crowded room with people is probably not helping us.
Yep.
Yeah.
As much as it sucks, we need this, change how we're doing it now. Like these lockdowns aren't good for small business, aren't good for so many things. We just need to just sort of clamp down, do what we got to do, and then get this shit behind us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the quicker we get it behind, the more we can party at these shows. So let's try to look for October Tinley instead of February for reptile shows. That's my opinion.
Yeah, like why have a good time in February when you could have a fucking crazy time in October? Woo!
Yeah, because figure in February you're going to be in there with the mask, you're going to be freaking socially distanced, you're going to be whatever. And in October we might be partying at the freaking Bananas Bar at Tinley Park without mask and having a good time. So for me, I'm going to be. But if you go, God bless you and have a good time. Just be really safe.
Mm-hmm. Kyle Abrams says, Brian, you need to have Billy on checking in.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We did.
We talked about it.
It's got to get the fucking COVID out of here.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, right now we're just doing in-person guests. Well, now we're doing no guests at all. But I prefer in-person guests. I think it's just a little bit better. For my situation, it is what it is. But Billy he will be all you guys. I want all you guys there. When we get there, so you can guarantee that'll happen.
That's sick.
I'll bring the pickles.
Yeah. So I got the pickles. You just bring that branch, my man. You just bring the branch.
Oh my God!
Wow. Elizabeth Lennon.
Great live tonight, MC Crew and Brian. Thank you. Wishing everyone a happy new year.
Yeah, everybody.
You too.
Have a safe and happy new year. Party responsibly.
BARCZYK family is going to be alone this holiday, and we'll be. I've gotten together with a friend of mine since high school, literally since I was 14 years old. This will be the first year that we missed together. So, that's just the right way to do it. So next year we'll party even harder.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, like, I know, some things that COVID have done have really like sabotage. I mean, there's businesses that have been around for 40, 50 years here in the city, family run restaurants, and they're closing down, and a few things, have closed down just because COVID and the lockdowns and some of the stuff that the government has put in place here in Ontario, and it's really sad. But I mean, for me, besides not having shows and not being able to sort of do what we've are so accustomed to, especially travel, haven't traveled that really. I mean, we talked about this earlier too. I travel 3-4 times a year. You travel once a month. I mean, it's fuck, were we spoiled? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we'll get there, man. But like you said, sacrifice now is worth it for the better of everybody, And if everyone bought into it, we get there a lot quicker. So, just like the vaccine, here in the States, there's still 30% of people saying they won't get vaccinated. I think it's stupid.
I'm gonna wait though. I want to see what
inject it into my eyeballs.
I'm just sort of afraid to say like, hey, yeah, stick something in that you've just basically. Wow, I mean, long-term effects. I want to see what the first 100,000 or million people, how they are after a few months. You know what I mean?
There's been 5 million people vaccinated around the world already. 5 million.
Right, but
no one's died. No one's died. There's been a few adverse effects, but no one's died.
So we know, that's the thing. It's like, media is going to sit there and go, "Hey guys, fuck! Look how many people died." And that'll just scare us from. I don't fucking know, but actually, I'm going to give it a little while.
The American media would be all over it. Trust me. They want the most sensational shit you can imagine. If someone died, they'd be all over it. With that being said, the RNA, I'm not going to get into a vaccine thing here, but the RNA vaccine is actually, if you understand how the RNA vaccine works, it's 100% out of your system in about 72 hours. So unlike a normal vaccine, like the flu vaccine or polio or something, you're injecting dead virus into your body, right? And then that virus builds immunity. The RNA actually is just sending genetic code into your system to build immunity with the genetic code. So there's no actual foreign body going into your body. So there can't be any adverse effects on it. There can't be. It's impossible.
So
the RNA is just sending a code. Yeah, it's just sending a code. I mean, I'm a bio major, so like that's just my world. And I would take it today. I would have taken it 3 months ago, and we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine with the vaccine. Will it help and completely curb COVID? That's a whole nother topic. I think if anything is going to go wrong, it's just not going to be as effective long term. Yeah. We know it's the efficiency is 90-95%, but we don't know for how long.
Right.
We don't know if it's going to last 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. That's the only thing we don't know, but we know that it's effective short term.
Yeah, and this new strain that's come out, that's I mean, who knows if this is going to be working with that one? I mean, it's just
the
just go away.
Is that all viruses mutate, right? Every virus mutates. Yep. The good news is as it mutates, it becomes less fatal. So the morbidity rate is already pretty low on COVID-19 for healthy people. The new strain that's been identified in the UK and now in South Africa, the morbidity rate will be probably 10% of it's a mild case of it. And the good news is that already Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Moderna have all said that the preliminary testing is that it will be effective on that strain too. So we're good, Billy. Don't stress.
Yeah, man. Right, I'm just gonna take precaution. You know what I mean? Just a little.
Well, listen, you're not gonna get it till 150 million people have already done it anyways. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
You don't have any choice. That's what I've said. By the time it's my turn, there's going to be 150 million people have already done it. So we're going to be fine. We don't get the opportunity to get it earlier. If I did, I would do it, but I'm not going to have that option until March or April.
Oh, we have a question here for Chad from DMJ Reptiles. Take it away, Austin.
Does Chad love to eat a dick?
Oh, man.
So
maybe
Chad is our buddy from Richie's Recessives. And I don't know how it started.
Don't know, but it's taken over.
It's taken over every chat, whether it's MJ's, whether it's Brian's, no matter where it is, everybody just, Chad eat AD. So what we do, is that at the end of every show, well, we just started it, so I can't say we've done it every one. So you'll be the second. Shelby was on last week. the week before. So what we like to do is, we'll wrap this up very soon, but we like to say, if you could say, Brian, if you could say Chad EAD.
Chad EAD, or do I say Chad eat a dick?
Oh, there you go. You're awesome. Fucking right.
Eat a pickle.
There you go, Chad. Eat it, bitch.
Chad, eat a pickle.
This is no, not eat a pickle. That's yours. Ready? So this is for Brian.
I don't eat pickles.
Woohoo! That was awesome. Actually, this is called for too.
Oh man.
Okay, and then here we have Ryan Hellender. Can I get a group swing? What the hell?
No idea.
Swing. I don't know what that is.
Swing.
Swing.
No, you have to go to Lord of the Lions fucking OnlyFans for that.
I might get a swing.
A group swing?
A group swing with a pickle?
I hope not.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
he's gonna name his Drildo Pickle.
Jeez.
DMJ Reptiles again. The DMJ kids say hello. Junior Mario and Jenny, and I say sorry for the content.
Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
Whoops.
No, whoops. That's for
Cut umbilical cord.
that's for cutting umbilical cords. Oops. And then we have my man Andrew from Reptile. Jesus. Redwood Reptiles LLC. Team Chad. Hashtag F the world.
For the win.
For the win.
No, F the world.
Eat the world.
For
the win.
Know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I just learned something new. Hashtag. How can you have two hashtags?
It used to mean what you thought it meant, and it slowly switched. Yeah, FTWs.
The fucking these, millennials changing my shit. FTW was fuck the world, wasn't it?
Right?
FTW. That's what apparently we're wrong.
It's been a few years.
The millennials said fuck you
Yeah,
old
it's been quite a
geezers.
while now.
Like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Maybe longer.
Wow. Okay.
You guys are all changing shit on us.
Yep. Wow.
Yep.
But no, man, it's been awesome having you on, man. It's just it's great, and I'm glad to hear everything's going well, and you're getting through this COVID stuff like many of us, and it's awesome. I mean, I missed you this year. It's coming to the CRBE, and I guess everyone's missing a lot of shit, but can't wait until they open it up.
Yeah, we'll get. Listen, it's coming, man. It's coming. We'll be there, and we could just party harder when it's there. I like you said, September. I hope I see you, if not sooner, and then I'll see you in October as well. So,
yeah, and we'll actually make a trip, and we'll vlog our trip to the the Reptarium. Definitely something I've wanted to do.
You're literally
5
3
hours.
hours.
How long?
3 hours.
Oh shit!
3 hours.
3 hours.
Yeah.
It took me, and I went the long way. It took me, I think, 3 hours and 40 minutes. So it'd be another 20 minutes for you. So yeah, 4 hours max, and that's because I went the long way.
Yeah, I think that when I came to your old place, it was about 3.5 hours. So
yeah,
so
which would be
pretty simple.
Yeah,
it's pretty simple. So but yeah, whenever you guys are always welcome. When
No, it's awesome.
Finally get across the border again. And no, thank you so much for having me, guys. Seriously, it's been so much fun.
It's been an honor to have you, man.
yeah, it's been awesome.
My pleasure.
Say hi to the family.
Yeah,
Noah and
you-
Lori and
yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, and definitely, you guys, happy New Year to you guys. And
For sure.
and if I can ever help in any way in the future, let me know. Again, thank you guys in the chat, super chat. You guys are rock stars. And and Chad, eat that dick, man.
Oh, shit.
you're awesome, Brian, man. Fucking awesome to have you, man. You have a great one, and definitely stay in touch. And see you soon, my friend.
See you guys.
see
Love
ya.
you, man. See you soon. Man. All right, take
It
care.
was
Bye.
so
All
awesome.
right, bye. Oh man,
Brian's
poor Chad.
awesome.
Oh,
FTP, F the population.
That's not a thing.
No, I think that's...
FTP.
Go away, hyped up more.
FTW was always F the world. But anyways, people, you guys were awesome. It was awesome. I can't believe how awesome that was.
That was a good one.
That was really good, man.
That was really
a lot
good.
of good stories.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we're gonna, check out. He checks in, we check out.
Yep.
Hey, no, I don't want to steal that. It
Quality
was
in,
just
quality out.
Yeah.
In about 10 minutes I actually have figured this out now on our YouTube, not on Instagram, on our YouTube. We're going to do the aftercast with Jason from Morph Mixology. Hopefully, he doesn't answer me in a couple of minutes, but yeah, in about 10 minutes, we'll be going live on there.
Awesome.
All right, guys.
Okay, guys, you guys are awesome. Thanks. We'll see you guys next Monday. And I don't know, YouTube videos and some other shit happening. But just in case, end of the week is end of the 2020 year.
Yep.
See you in 2021.
See you in 2021. And yeah, have a happy new year and safe. And you know, keep doing what you're doing. And this was awesome.
It's amazing.
Fucking awesome.
Yep.
Chad, E.
A.
D.
Pickle.
I was gonna say.
Later.
My channel. My channel. My content. My channel. My content. My channel. My content.